Bonjour à vous tous et bienvenue à ce troisième épisode de Disco Elysium. Mon nom est Rekels et j'espère que de votre côté, vous allez bien. Au courant du dernier épisode, on a eu notre premier ending, notre première fin de jeu. C'est pas nécessairement une fin qu'on aurait voulu avoir, hein. On n'a rien fait pour tout dans le jeu encore. On a à peine visité quelques bâtiments, parlé à quelques personnages et tout ça. Malheureusement, on a tué notre personnage au bout de sa vie. Il est mort d'une crise cardiaque. Well. J'espère que ça va aller mieux cette fois-ci. On recommence probablement en avant de la barrière de fer. Donc, bien hâte de voir ce que ça nous réserve. Je vous souhaite un bon visionnement. Ok. Est-ce que vous m'entendez bien, guys? Tout va bien, tout se passe bien, tout est dans le meilleur des mondes. Même si j'ai plus de vie. Je pourrais pas knocker à la porte. Ça, c'est triste. Good. Sors ta flashlight, mon homme. Moi, j'ai enlevé la flashlight. Ok. Oh, damn! Ok, on avait rien fait de ça. Pas de problème, Hadlack. Ouais, je m'ai écrit Don't Die, ça a pas mis les icônes à côté. Ok, fait que ça c'est les fameux cubes mémoire qu'on a eu. Ça nous prend un mot de passe malheureusement pour avoir accès à toute l'information qu'il y a dessus.
Yes?
Non, on veut pas y parler. Donc là, si je comprends bien, on n'avait pas été au deuxième encore. Les chaussures dans une plaque de neige fondue. La Delta année 51. Les rayons de soleil ont teint cette carte postale d'une couleur sépia. On y observe la circulation au centre-ville. L'ombre des gratte-ciels disparaît dans la brume beige de la mi-journée, qui s'élève du delta sur lequel le district a été bâti. La carte postale est pré-affranchie. Est-ce que ça serait un indice?
An iron safety curtain curves before your eyes, folded like a bellows. It covers half the room, blocking the way into a colossal industrial chimney.
Non, on veut pas frapper ce rideau de fer. La dernière fois qu'on a fait ça, on est mort. Mais on avait frappé plusieurs fois.
What an odd thing to do. Nothing happens.
On veut pas taper trop fort sur le rideau de fer. On va mourir. Il me reste juste un point de vie. On peut sortir là. Mais un peu plus question en arrière. Ah oui, c'est vrai. Il reste un point de vie à cause de toutes les niaiseries qu'on a
A
faites.
thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace, coloring it pitch black.
Étaler du charbon sur vos mains.
A lush layer of coal now covers your skin, sinking into the wrinkles. Your hands look ancient. You feel the spirit of Ramut Karzai, ancient hero of Grad, pulsing through you. All that's left is to cover your face in war paint.
Oh mon dieu! Ça peut être drôle. Ça peut être très drôle. Ah, dans la mou de Karsai! Non, pas la peine de s'exprimer. Je vais me nettoyer les mains. Non. Ah, dans la mou de Karsai!
3 dangerous stripes appear onto your cheeks, telling stories of your wild soul.
What are you doing?
Je suis la réincarnation d'un ancien guerrier. Il m'a rien. Rien du tout. Non, je suis. On va.
Please wipe your face clean, officer.
Oh, on pourrait le réussir. De pas s'essuyer.
These 3 stripes give you strength in this dangerous realm. It would be foolish to remove them.
Bonsoir, Hot Spicy, comment vas-tu? Donc, ces 3 rayures te donnent la force d'affronter les ténèbres de ce monde. Il faut surtout pas les enlever. Je ne vais pas m'aventurer dans cette obscurité sans la protection de mes peintures de guerre.
And this protects you.
Ok. C'est une peinture de guerre traditionnelle. Elle me accorde un sauf-conduit auprès des esprits protecteurs du Dieu. Elle me donne confiance en moi. C'est la seule chose qui compte. On va avec le premier. C'est une peinture de guerre traditionnelle. Elle m'accorde un sauf-conduit auprès des esprits protecteurs du lieu. Bonsoir, Hot Spicy. Je sais pas si tu m'avais entendu la première fois. Ça va bien et toi? Comment vas-tu? De mon côté, ça va bien, mais j'ai pas la gorge qui fait encore un peu mal. Oh non! Les vilaines pubs. Les vilaines pubs. Malgré le petit mal de gorge, ça va bien. Pas autant que ça aille bien de ton côté.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
Il détourne les yeux de votre tête grimée et de la chaudière. Ouais, malheureusement, non, c'est. J'ai une petite bactérie ou un virus qui s'est attaqué à ma gorge puis mes sinus depuis une semaine, donc. C'est comme. C'est parti de la vie. Bon, on va partir de là. Il n'y avait plus rien à faire là, malheureusement. Donc, on va essayer de. de voir si on a le mot de passe. Ça m'étonnerait bien gros que ce soit qu'est-ce qu'on a vu en haut, le mot de passe.
Tiles on the cube are still smoldering. Cast like a smooth draw, the filament slides into place. On the keyboard, the play
Yes.
key starts blinking.
Appuie à nouveau la lecture.
A bar of fabric right above the keyboard starts producing a soft hum. The
Oh.
sound of static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic driver.
Ok. Donc, la dernière fois, on avait parlé avec la petite madame. C'était pas bien fini. On n'avait pas d'informations au niveau du mot de passe.
Oh no. It was already glowing and now it's also making a sound. It's probably some alien CO-like technology. The static gets louder, slowly filling up the abandoned hall, until a voice speaks out, crackling and old, cutting into the air.
Good afternoon. Fortress accident en rue de Saint-Ghislaine. This is East Insulindian Repeater Station 1.
C'est elle qu'on avait parlé la dernière fois.
Please repeat. Is this the production schedule?
Bon, ok, il va falloir tout repasser au travers parce que malheureusement, on est mort après, ça n'a pas eu le temps de sauvegarder. C'est quoi le planning de production?
The filament you have inserted into the reader.
Ah d'accord, merci pour l'explication.
That was a question. Have you inserted it into the core?
Ouais. En fait, écoute bien. Je ne comprends pas c'est quoi, pour vrai, le background du jeu. Dans le sens que ils ont tout l'accent français, mais il n'y a pas de traduction française de fait pour le jeu. Hey! Okamino Tayo, comment vas-tu? Excuse-moi si j'ai détruit ton nom. Ouais, il n'y a pas moyen de mettre le jeu en français à part le texte. Who knows? Je trouve ça quand même drôle. En tout cas. Ça va bien, ça va bien. C'est mal de gorge, là, comme tu peux entendre. Ouais, why not? Donc oui, c'est ça que j'ai passé.
Please repeat the password.
Mais on l'a pas le mot de passe.
You should ask her for a hint.
Un mot de passe? J'ai toujours été nul en mot de passe. Vous voulez pas me filer un indice?
No.
Non. Ok. Veuillez ouvrir cette... Ici la police, veuillez ouvrir cette chose.
I am contractually obliged to protect the privacy of the filament holder fortress accident. Without filing a warrant with Lintel, I cannot give you access to this filament.
Well...
I'm afraid we are not doing that, unless we want to wait for a month.
Now, can you please repeat the password?
Ok, demande à nouveau la voix dans la machine. Elle semble froide dans l'air humide. Well... Ce serait pas mon anniversaire?
Still no.
Ok, ben je connais pas le mot de passe.
Received. I will register this login attempt.
Ah non, ça regarde pas bien.
That sounds bad. A login attempt. Something a criminal would do. Don't worry. Passwords have a way of turning up sooner or later.
Fortress accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today?
Ok, pourquoi vous m'appelez Fortress Accident?
Fortress Accident is the company on whose name the terminal you are currently using has been registered to.
Vous avez d'autres informations sur cette entreprise?
One moment.
Vous l'entendez tourner les pages de son catalogue, puis elle se met à lire d'une voix piquée.
Fortress Accident SCA produces revolutionary interactive call-in radio games. That's what the catalog says.
Et c'est quoi ces jeux interactifs là?
Any other questions?
Sa réponse est noyée dans la friture. Vous avez d'autres questions? Vous demande-t-elle quand la connexion s'améliore. Vous êtes quoi, vous? Une machine ou une vraie personne?
Yes, I am alive. I am 74 years old and my name is Yvonne.
Ok.
She repeats passwords. Programming people are all paranoid.
Ouais, je pense vraiment que c'est un jeu français. Ou belge, comme tu dis. Mais pourquoi ne pas avoir fait la traduction française? Peut-être que ça coûte trop cher, là. C'est énormément de temps, hein. Iman, mon partenaire me dit que si vous êtes là, c'est parce que les programmeurs sont tous des paranos.
They are merely cautious.
Réponds-le.
It's my job to protect their filaments as a password repeater at the East Insulindian Station.
D'accord. Mais vous êtes où? Et comment vous savez qui je suis?
I work as a repeater at the East Insulindian Repeater Station. It's my job to know where you are, Fortress Accident.
Oui, c'est sûr que la voix anglophone, c'est pour mieux vendre leurs produits, c'est sûr à 100%.
As for me, well, I am sitting in my cubicle, surrounded by a wall of radios.
Oh man, ça a de l'air triste.
On an island on the river Esperance, a small woman, all skin and bones, sits in a room filled with audio equipment. Thousands of tiny lights are reflected back from her prescription lenses, like stars in the dark.
J'aime tellement ces façons de penser là, c'est vraiment
Doesn't
cool.
it get lonely, sitting there all by herself?
Vous vous sentez pas un peu seul dans votre boulot?
Lonely? Why would it get lonely? I get to talk to people all day.
Mhm.
That's why she does this.
Fait qu'il y a pas juste nous autres qui les contactent.
Now, please tell me if there's anything else I can do, Fortress Accident.
J'ai pas de mot de passe, fait que ça me donne absolument rien, tu sais, même si je reclique là.
Good. Please receive Fortress Accident.
C'est tout pour le moment.
Is there anything else? Thank you and goodbye.
La vieille dame disparaît avec le grisement.
Tiles on the cube are still smoldering, casting the framework in a soft glow.
Intéressant.
Fluorescent play and print keys shine on the keyboard.
Le touche blafard de lecture et impression s'allume. Estonien.
The filament slides out of its glowing nest.
Regardez si le filament, voir s'il y a quelque chose d'intéressant. Peux-tu l'inspecter? Non, on peut pas l'inspecter. Planning de production, remarque. Les informations dans la mémoire supplémentaire peuvent être consultées. Ok. Non, on n'a absolument rien là-dessus. C'est triste. Ok, ben la seule chose que je peux voir qu'on peut faire présentement, c'est sortir de là. Hop, de l'autre côté. Un peu, je me rappelle plus par où passer. C'est lors du dernier stream qu'on était là. Ça. On a techniquement plus rien à faire là. J'avais-tu joué avec ça? Un accessoire de lancer de poids. Pourquoi j'ai pas eu ça, moi? Cette boule pesante est utilisée pour la pratique de lancer de poids. Quelque chose vous dit que vous devriez en faire le meilleur usage possible. Il serait quand même malheureux de vendre un bel objet rétro comme celui-là. On pourrait le lancer sa porte en haut. Right. va aller essayer, voir si on peut le lancer sa porte. Il nous a peut-être déverrouillé une option.
As before,
Non.
an iron safety curtain
On va juste sauvegarder parce que... On ne peut pas avoir à repasser tout ça si jamais on meurt, parce qu'on risque de mourir. On n'a malheureusement pas de heal. Faudrait pour être prêt à se trouver quelque chose pour manger ou quoi que ce soit pour se healer, ben ça n'a pas de sens. Ah oui, 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 attendez un petit peu. Vous autres, oui, vous pouvez voir. C'est vrai. Je me place pas là d'habitude, right? Et voilà. Comme ça, vous allez voir les informations importantes de nos personnages. Ouais, ça aurait été super utile, une grâce. Je veux juste partir. Ok, faut que je clique sur la porte. Malheureusement, c'est pas ce genre de jeu, là. Disco Elysium est maintenant un Souls-like. On va être en maudit contre moi.
You broke down the back door, the wards, the door. It's all gone now. Dark psychic energy leeching onto my shop.
Il est parfois nécessaire de prendre des mesures drastiques.
I suppose it's all over now. I guess there's no escape.
De quoi parlez-vous? C'est juste une porte.
Just a door? This place is cursed, detective. They don't call it the doomed commercial area for nothing. Just look at the sheer amount of companies that have failed in this house.
Okay.
I hope you're happy now. Happy that you've ruined everything. Now that you've broken the door, the curse is coming to get me as well.
Ok, elle ferme les yeux et se met à marmonner quelque chose à son pendentif. Maudit, mais je croyais que la malédiction n'était pas réelle.
Of course you didn't. You're nothing but a policeman.
Elle hausse les épaules, visiblement découragée.
All right. You know what? I'm willing to let you investigate the doomed commercial area. We are set on the path. There's little else to do. But before we go on, tell me, did you encounter the malignant entity?
Je plisse les yeux en murmurant ce nom. L'entité? Non, je ne pense pas.
Yes, the malignant entity that lives inside the chimney. It takes the shape of a woman, a witch probably. I've suspected that she knows more about the curse than she lets on ever since I first saw her.
Parler de la cheminée qui fait partie de la chaudière principale, j'ai entendu des voix qui provenaient de l'intérieur. Ou les chemins ne sont pas assez larges pour qu'on puisse s'y habiter. Les cheminées, excusez. Ou les cheminées, le passage entre le ciel et l'enfer, évidemment. Tout s'explique. Je voulais choisir entre les trois choix qu'on a. Faites juste me l'écrire dans le chat. Prendre une gorgée d'eau pendant ce temps-là. Qu'est-ce que vous voulez? 1, 2 ou 3? J'ai souvent tendance à faire ça avec ce jeu-là. On se crée l'histoire ensemble, c'est un RPG. Deux détectives qu'on joue ensemble. Ben oui, ça fait longtemps qu'on n'a pas été étudier le corps, qu'on n'a pas avancé sur cette affaire-là. C'est quand même drôle. On est trois, donc 3. Ok. Le passage entre le ciel et l'enfer, évidemment. Tout s'explique.
Yes, that chimney is part of the building's central furnace, and it's enormous. She has barricaded herself behind some metal security curtains. God knows what she's doing there. Some unnatural magic, I assume. You should go find the entity and ask what happened to all the companies in the building. And do return to me after you've talked to it. I'm quite anxious to know what she has to say about the curse.
Okay.
If you're really interested in cracking this mystery, then we should go back to the furnace. Maybe you could yell into it or something. Make some noise. You'll think of...
Despite his cool,
Wow.
the lieutenant's interested in solving this mystery too.
J'avais une ou deux autres questions à propos de la malédiction.
Okay, but please, only a few questions. You wouldn't want to disturb the spirits.
Pourquoi ne pas m'avoir dit directement qu'il s'agissait de la malédiction?
It's not good to talk about the curse, not in detail. The negativism, it's dangerous. Talking about the void wraiths angers them.
Such wraiths may prove a formidable enemy. Suit up.
Comment se manifeste cette malédiction?
The curse is so much worse than you could imagine. It's a disease, eating at the very foundation.
Un frisson parcourt la femme tandis qu'elle scrute les recoins sombres de la boutique.
It's the curse of financial distress, of ruin and bankruptcy.
Elle scrute à nouveau les rideaux.
Didn't that curtain just move?
Annette m'a raconté que les anciens locataires avaient connu des problèmes financiers. Bon, je suis un peu paumé. Qu'est-ce que ça veut dire? Une seconde, c'est tout? Je m'attendais à quelque chose de plus. Paraît naturel. On va y aller avec Annette.
It's not just that, officer. We're dealing with something supernatural here. It's the cacodemons, feeding off bad business practices and disappointing income statements. There's something wrong with this building, I can tell you. Ever since I arrived, I've sensed an eerie, lingering presence, as if I was unwanted here.
C'est sûr que si la madame avait bien en haut, faut qu'elle se trouve un moyen d'aller se nourrir et tout ça, là.
Sounds familiar.
Bizarre, je me sens aussi. Je me sens moi aussi indésirable. Qu'est-ce que ça veut bien dire?
Truly so? Perhaps the dark energies are leeching off you. You shouldn't stay in the store too long. It may be dangerous.
Pas sûr. Avez-vous sollicité une aide quelconque?
Yes, I've contacted numerous parapsychologists and even a pair of Simonese mediators. They provided me with the wards.
Elle désigne la tête, la mamie en forme de cage sur les rideaux.
The wards help to keep the doom at bay and protect us against the
like ça a pas
darkness
marché
that
ben
lies
ben.
further in the building. Even though now I fear, it's not enough.
Votre pendentif fait aussi partie de ces sauts?
Oh, this? No, it's a special Himian amulet, blessed by desert pygmy shamans, with a spell of compulsion. It's to compel people to buy books. There are numerous spells cast throughout the store.
Wow.
I had the books anointed with a different inducement spell, for example. It's guaranteed to boost sales 15%.
Ben oui, tu crois à ces affaires-là. Les sceaux sur la porte de derrière, ils sont aussi séménésiens?
Yes, the Simonese are very crafty and their wards are extremely powerful. Lesser wards simply won't do here.
Ok, bon. Pas grave, j'avais d'autres questions.
The woman before you scans the store, her shoulders rigid and tense. Every now and then, she nudges her glasses.
Bon. Ok, fait qu'il veut qu'on retourne voir la cheminée. J'ai dit à contre mes dessins d'en face, ça serait tellement drôle que j'ai été par la petite madame en bas avec les mains noires, les traits dans le dessus, dans le visage. Ok, donc c'est ça, c'est mené dans la tête. Parfait. C'est par là. Encore une fois, vu que j'ai juste une vie, on va sauvegarder parce que j'apprends de mes erreurs. N'est-ce pas?
A thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace, coloring it pitch black.
Ok, y a quelqu'un dans la chaudière. On a quand même... Ah! Plus un à cause qu'on est peint sur le riz. On s'est peint sur le riz, le visage, on s'est peinturé le visage. Puis plus un parce qu'on avait fait fermer la chaudière quand même.
Something breaks loose in you. A mighty bellow echoes throughout the chimney's depths. The chatter of tiny voices above suddenly cease. Then,
Ensuite...
Hello?
Oh! Y'a quelqu'un! Vous répond une voix féminine.
you've awakened the entity.
Bonjour, vous êtes là? Parlez! J'invoque le fantôme de la zone commerciale maudite. Réponds à mon appel. Je pense qu'on y va avec celle-là. Ou c'est la police qui est là? Ouais, votre job.
Hello? Did you say anything? I can't hear you. Please come upstairs. There's a safety curtain on the second floor. I'll open it.
Ah boy, elle va nous l'ouvrir.
You hear a low rumble upstairs, the sound of a curtain being pulled aside.
After you, officer.
Ok, on a été chanceux. Hein? On aurait pu tout faire ça pour pas mourir le dernier stream. C'est qui? Est-ce que c'est la petite femme de 71 ans? guys. J'ai le goût de faire une prédiction. Paye ton entité. On va se faire une prédiction. Est-ce que c'est Yvonnette? Yvonnette. Yvonnette, c'est celle avec qui qu'on parlait au téléphone, right? Ben, pas au téléphone, dans le cube. Est-ce que c'est elle qui est en haut? Vous avez 30 secondes pour choisir votre réponse. C'est parti. Ce temps-là, moi de mon côté, je vais aller voir ça ici. Oh, on est à 18% de retour à la maison, ça c'est bien. Ça c'est très bien. Ok, j'ai-tu des points? Non, j'ai pas de points de compétence à utiliser. C'est 55 sur 100, donc on avance. 45 pour on est... On a réussi. C'est pas Yvonnette, ok. Parfait. Qui est-ce alors? C'est effectivement pas Yvonnette, je pense bien. On va voir les trucs pour commencer qui sont dans l'endroit. Ce tiroir rempli de dés colorés en forme de polyèdre, il y en a des centaines. Le distributeur de bonbons a été reconverti et contient des milliers de dés.
Hello, I'm Nia.
Amnia. Malheureusement, il y avait juste quelqu'un qui avait voté pour l'instant. C'est pas grave. Meilleure chance la prochaine fois, tout le monde. Ok. Félicitations au gagnant. T'as pas perdu tes trucs. Tes points de chaîne. Ok. Bonjour, je m'appelle Léa. Une femme aux allures d'oiseau est juchée sur un trône d'outils. Une lumière vert émeraude scintillant à travers sa chevelure. Yeah, tu gardes tes points, c'est ça le bonus.
Did you try knocking on my window? I must have missed you. I've been listening to my Milius.
Elle tapote le casque sur ses oreilles. Ok, ouais, je me serais... C'est pas pour rien que je me suis tué sur son rideau.
So what kind of die are you looking for?
Could this be the malicious entity? Perhaps it's wise to go along with this masquerade for now.
Vas-y vite, qu'est-ce que vous entendez par sphère?
Yes, Amelia is like a call-in station. You need a two-way radio to access one. That's why I have these.
Elle tapote le casque audio posé sur la table.
Mostly, they just teach you to swear in different languages. But some of the stations can be quite interesting. I was so absorbed, I must have missed you knocking.
Effectivement. Ok, pas si vite. Qu'est-ce que vous entendez par cette sphère? C'est fait. Vous devez vous tromper, j'ai pas frappé à votre porte. Non, à votre fenêtre. Qu'est-ce que vous avez à me parler des dés? Qu'est-ce que vous avez à me parler des dés?
I'm a novelty dice maker. Tell me the name of your role-playing system and I'll make the die you need. That's why you're here, yes?
Oh! Ouais, ça fait combien de temps qu'elle est enfermée là pour elle?
As she speaks, her bone-like fingers fiddle with a ring. Her bones light, but her hands strong. Role-playing games? You know the one made by Fortress Accident. Does that count?
Peut-être. En effet, j'aime les jeux de rôle, il me faut des dés. Ça se pourrait, je suis pas sûr de savoir ce que je fais là, à vrai dire. Non, il me fallait autre chose. Je veux des réponses. On va y aller avec les dés.
Very good. My rate is 10 real per set, unless you want something really unusual. Take a look around and see if there is any particular stone you want to use.
Les murs de la pièce sont recouverts de pierres précieuses et de minéraux.
This person means you or no one else. Absolutely no harm.
Non,
She will answer freely and honestly.
Ok. Comment êtes-vous devenu fabricante de dés?
How did I become one? It was a business decision. I was a regular jeweler at first, but that's an unfocused field with too much competition.
D'accord.
Some of my friends were role players. They asked me to make some polyhedral dice out of cobalt. That was my first order. I grew it from there.
Est-ce que vous aimez les jeux de rôle?
Not especially. I like working with rare materials and a steady pay. And role players as customers? They're nice people.
On n'a pas assez de réal pour la faire anyway, c'est 7,52. On a.
She's thankful for the security they provide her.
Fait qu'on peut pas commander un lit. Qu'est-ce que vous savez à propos de l'homme retrouvé lynché derrière le Whirling in Rags?
Nothing really. I didn't know him.
Who cares about the dead body? We might be dealing with a malignant entity.
Non, non, elle est pas méchante, arrête.
The lieutenant looks at his notebook, then the woman under the large window.
Your window looks directly onto the courtyard.
Exact.
You're saying you didn't see or hear anything unusual last Sunday evening?
I'm sorry, detective, but as you know, I usually have my headphones on when I'm working. It shuts out most of the daily ruckus behind my
Tu
window.
n'entends pas le vacarme dehors. Comment tu fais pour savoir qu'il y a un vacarme dehors si tu l'entends pas? Le vacarme dehors?
Well, there's always something going on in the Whirling's backyard.
Elle s'interrompt pour illustrer son propos.
During daytime, there are usually those kids. And lately, I've been seeing a lot of drunk workers hanging about. Must be because
À
of the
cause de la
strike.
grève, ouais.
She's not sorry to disappoint you. Informing on someone in a murder investigation would intrude upon her focused existence.
But I never saw anyone during that fateful Sunday night, I'm afraid.
Dommage. Et vous ne détournez jamais les yeux de votre travail pour regarder par la fenêtre.
I might have, but in this case, all I would have seen is my own reflection staring back from the darkness.
T'as un point.
It's really hard to make anything out in the yard when it's dark outside. Besides, I rarely get up to look out the window when I'm in the zone.
Est-ce que vous travaillez souvent le dimanche soir?
It's an odd profession, making dice for people, but I like it, and I prefer doing this to sitting at home.
Je vois. Merci pour vos réponses.
She nods.
Anything else, officer?
J'aimerais savoir où nous nous trouvons. C'est quoi cet endroit? Observez la pièce dans son ensemble.
We're inside the chimney of an old central furnace. It's strange, I know.
Elle observe les briques rouges d'or sur les murs. Bien qu'il ait été restauré, il y a encore ici et là des traces de suie.
But when I arrived here, all the other rooms were taken, so I had to build myself a makeshift home. Besides, I don't really have to pay any rent here, so that's a plus.
Plaisance was right. There's an entity living in the chimney. You should ask her about the curse.
Creative.
Le lieutenant observe la pièce spacieuse qui l'entoure. Le plafond s'estompe dans les ombres au-dessus. Ok. J'ai entendu dire que cet endroit était maudit. Vous êtes au courant que les gens l'appellent la zone commerciale maudite?
I've heard the stories, but I don't think those stories are true.
Vous entendez le vent hurler dans la conduite de la chaudière. Mais je dis pas. Non, une seconde, dans ce cas, comment est-ce que vous expliquez ce qui s'est arrivé à toutes ces entreprises? Plaisance m'envoie. Elle est convaincue que cet endroit bouillonne dans l'énergie négative.
Plaisance, the bookshop lady? I've heard that her business is doing rather well. Have the energy spared her somehow?
Ok. En réalité, la librairie ne fonctionne pas si bien que ça. Les clients sont rares et elle est contrainte d'exploiter sa propre vie pour se maintenir à flot. La malédiction attend le moment opportun pour frapper toi à nouveau. Tôt ou tard, tout le monde ferait faillite. J'ignore pourquoi la librairie n'a pas encore fait faillite. Je suis venu pour tirer cette... Ouais, on va y aller avec ça.
Oh, right. But it's not just the bookstore that's still up and running. What about the Whirling in Rags? Some people say it's part of the building complex.
Elle a pas tort. Wow. Passez vite! Est-ce que le Whirling fait partie de la zone commerciale
You
maudite?
could say so. Both houses were built at the same time and under the east of the Commerce Central project.
Le Delta Est. Ok. Peut-être, mais quand même un autre bâtiment. Les énergies négatives ne peuvent pas faire l'atteindre. Non, le Whirling ne va pas très bien non plus. La serveuse vient de démissionner et les clients ont du mal à payer les factures. On parle de moi. Vous avez raison, le Whirling n'a pas l'air affecté par la médecine.
And then there is me.
Ok, elle soupire en observant sa table de travail en désordre. Elle contient divers outils éparpillés, couteaux de gravure, pinces, pompes.
I've been here for 14 years, selling novelty dice to role-playing enthusiasts.
14 ans.
Not exactly a million-real business idea, yet somehow I've survived despite the talk of malicious energies. Strange, isn't it?
It's because she's in cahoots with the demons.
C'est parce que vous avez du talent que vous consacrez corps et âme à votre art. La malédiction n'affecte pas les personnes comme vous. Je suis le premier à reconnaître qu'il y a beaucoup d'incohérences dans cette histoire de malédiction.
I was just about to ask, what do you think? Do you think the curse is real?
The jig is up. The she-demon knows you've uncovered her true identity.
Ah ouais, la musique est vraiment apaisante. La musique est super bonne de ce jeu-là.
Time has come to face the source. Fear not, for the forces of the universe are supporting you in this psychic quest.
Je pense que vous pourriez bien être à l'origine de cette malédiction. Il s'est les yeux de façon mystérieuse. J'ai commencé à me dire qu'il n'y a aucune malédiction, mais uniquement de mauvaises décisions et les aléas du marché. Honnêtement, je ne sais pas trop quoi en penser. Le monde est un lieu étrange. Guys, qu'est-ce que vous voulez qu'on dise? Est-ce qu'il y a une malédiction? Est-ce qu'on pense qu'elle est à l'origine de la malédiction? Est-ce qu'il n'y a aucune malédiction, mais seulement des aléas du marché? Ou le monde est un lieu étrange. Je ne sais pas trop quoi en penser. 1, 2 ou 3 dans le chat. Let's go! Je laisse quelques secondes. La première. Ah ouais, j'aime ça. Je pense que vous pourriez bien être à l'origine de la malédiction.
So I'm the grand dragon in the cave. Might I ask what supports this claim?
Ok, j'ai invoqué le fantôme de la raison commerciale maudite et vous avez répondu à l'appel. Il y a quelque chose de fantasmagorique chez vous, déterré. Vous êtes la dernière survivante, vous avez forcément une part de responsabilité, je n'ai pas le temps de vous fournir des indications, les visions m'envahissent. Il y a forcément quelque chose de fantasmagorique chez vous, déterré.
Ethereal? Thank you, but I think it's just the lighting.
No, it's the troubled color of her energetic vibrations.
Non, je suis catégorique. Votre énergie vibratoire est perturbée. Votre passé est marqué par la tragédie, mon chaton.
Of course you do. Show me a person in Martinez who doesn't have any tragedies in their past, and then we'll talk.
Ah, peut-être pas.
If you ever find a way to explain all those inconsistencies in the curse, then let me know.
Elle retourne dans son travail.
Plaisance needs to hear about this. Perhaps if you combine your psychic energies, you will make sense of the situation.
Frisson légendaire. Eh boy. Pourquoi est-ce qu'elle n'a pas mis la clé sous la porte? C'est sûr qu'on le réussit pas. J'ai 17% de chance de le réussir.
You feel nothing. If anything, it's uncomfortably warm in here.
C'est déshabillé pour entrer en premier.
Excuse me, what are you doing?
La fabricante de dés vous pique du regard là, que vous ôtez nerveusement votre pantalon.
Officer,
Qu'est-ce que... Monsieur l'agent, voyons, qu'est-ce que vous fabriquez? La pharmacie requiert, elle est coincée. Vous trouvez pas qu'il fait hyper chaud ici? J'essaie de faire baisser la température. Vous allez voir, c'est une technique de mon cul.
And what technique is that?
Écarquez les yeux un peu surprise, vous n'avez pas encore ouvert votre braquette. Ah bien, je vais vous le dire, il m'arrive d'avoir comme une sensation, un sentiment.
Miss, I apologize for my colleague's behavior. He's still recovering from an unusual medical episode.
Officer, this isn't how mature adults deal with their feelings.
Now you feel something.
Non!
A cold damp of shame washing over you.
Non, ce n'est pas ça, en fait. Je sens le vent ou la pression atmosphérique et il me révèle des choses.
The air pressure told you to take your pants off in my studio?
Exactement.
Can you please employ this special technique somewhere else? I work here and my work requires concentration. Half-naked people don't help with that.
Ça, c'est très drôle. Vous savez ce qui est arrivé aux autres propriétaires? Il n'y a plus personne.
More or less. Are you interested in anyone specific?
Il y avait un salon de coiffeur ici avant, non?
Yes, I think it was called Androgynous Orlando or something similar. They weren't a big hit around here. Turns out that working class men don't like genderless haircuts. They're scared of that word.
You wouldn't like it either. The others would laugh at you.
Il n'y a pas de mal à essayer de nouvelles choses quand elle n'était pas très ouverte d'esprit. Je ne laisserai jamais un androgyne toucher à mes cheveux, même si ma vie en dépendait. Je dois avoir des goûts simples. Je ne connais pas grand-chose en coupe de cheveux. Vous voyez avec le
I
premier.
guess it just wasn't the time yet.
Elle glisse une mèche de cheveux dans son foulard. Oh non. Qu'est-ce qui est arrivé à la salle de sport?
It wasn't merely a gym, it was Artemiteps Boxing Club, a community project created to steer at-risk youth away from drugs and crime.
Comment c'est tout ça, inspecteur, mettez-lui une minute. Elle sait tout ça parce que ça fait 14 ans qu'elle est là. Ça a l'air d'être quelqu'un qui vit sur le dos des autres un peu, hein. C'est qui Artemitep? Artemitep?
A kind man from Zemsk. I heard he had some trouble with the law when he was younger,
Ça s'en est
and that's
du
why he
justicier,
wanted
pour
to
vrai.
start the gym, as his way of giving back.
C'est que Kuno a besoin d'un club de boxe dans le quartier.
Kuno? Who's Kuno?
C'est un diablotin rouquin qui aime profaner les morts.
Oh yes, you mean the kid with the sailor's mouth? Yes, I've heard him yelling profanities in the backyard.
Elle regarde par la fenêtre, tout est étrangement calme.
I think it would take more than a gym to help that kid.
Est-ce que le projet de quartier a bien marché? Ou, à en juger par l'attitude des gamins que j'ai croisés, ça n'a pas trop marché, hein?
It didn't. If anything, it made the youth situation in Martinez even worse. At some point, someone started a rumor that the punching bag downstairs was full of amphetamines.
You should have known it.
Eventually, the coalition took away the funding and the club went bankrupt. This was a few years ago. It's gotten much more peaceful around the plaza ever since.
C'est quoi cette fenêtre cassée?
Oh, this
Malheureusement,
one's
je
a
peux pas la mettre sous
mess.
arrestation.
There used to be a company that promised to repair windows 24 hours a day. What could go wrong with this one, right? Turns out, the business was actually set up as a front for an illicit group that was producing snuff milias. Who would have guessed?
Intéressant.
And they never cleaned up the debris either. Now it's just littering the hallway and I have no idea how to get rid of it on my own.
Pas cool, sinon, c'est quoi une sphère snuff?
It's a sub-Rosa radio station that broadcasts real murders with real victims. Some people pay good money to get off on it.
Eee.
What does she mean, to get off on it?
Don't worry, the ICP has a separate division that deals exclusively with unlicensed sub-roses. This isn't our problem.
Ok.
Good luck with that. It's not easy catching those perpetrators.
Y avait un taxidermiste par ici. Il y a des trophées de chasse dans tous les coins.
You mean Mr. Fabron, the
Ah,
taxidermist?
elle les connaît toutes.
No, he mostly just did drugs.
But what drugs exactly?
De savoir quel genre de drogue il prenait à des fins strictement personnelles.
He got high on some weird taxidermy chemicals. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Eventually, they caused him to lose control of his bladder. The smell was awful.
Even you can probably do better than that. You can almost see it. A small, sickly old man, hunched behind his work desk, his pants stained with old piss, stuffing a
Yeah,
sad,
that's the-
stiff-legged raccoon dog. The entire scene looks tragic.
C'est très malade, hein, pareil. Le seul problème de Spicy, c'est que, jusqu'à il y a quelques heures, mon personnage ne se rappelait pas que c'était un policier. 2, j'ai pas mon insigne, fait que je peux pas prouver nécessairement que je suis un policier. 3, je me promène avec des gants de latex pour faire la cuisine. Ben, pour faire le lavage en cuisine. Je viens de perdre toute ma crédibilité. 4, Ben, étant donné que j'ai pas mon insigne pis que je me rappelle pas de grand chose, je sais pas non plus où est-ce que j'ai mis mon gun. Fait que j'ai pas de gun. Je me rappelais même pas que j'avais un gun. Voilà. Puis, ah oui, 5, juste pour faire exprès, tout le monde au poste de police se fout de ma gueule. Fait que... je peux pas faire grand chose là-dessus. J'ai vu des mannequins qui foutent les jetons.
There used to be a fashion atelier here, but I have forgotten the head designer's name. They were doing well for a couple of years, until the insect rights activists came.
On va se faire, ouais. Ok, les activistes pour les droits des insectes? C'est quoi ce délire? J'ignorais que les insectes et les activistes avaient des droits. Quoi ce délire?
Mm-hmm. The atelier produced a certain collection that used chitin among the materials. Apparently chitin is made in the Occident, where it's extracted from beetle wings.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how all kinds of political movements are big in the Occident. The activists shut down the biggest chitin supplier, which of course caused the price to skyrocket. And, naturally, all the most fashionable tastemakers refused to be seen in chitin from then on. The atelier went bankrupt before they could finish the collection.
Une chance que quelqu'un soit intervenu pour protéger ces braves petites bestioles. J'aime bien les insectes. Mais les insectes n'ont ni cerveau ni sentiment. Ils ont bien cherché. Quelle idée de vouloir fabriquer des vêtements à base d'ailes de scarabée.
At least it had some spark to it. Most young designers just combine lace with leather and call it original.
Quand elle se retourne dans ses habits de travail sans fioriture.
As she shifts around, you notice several dead flies on the windowsill in front of her. Legs up. They're not moving.
Anything else?
C'est quoi ce ski, ces pales de retard?
They were made by a company called Slipstream.
Y en a-tu de la
After they
compagnie? Ça a pas
pivoted
maudit
from
d'allure?
making rotor blades to skis, their chief executive took off on a vacation with all their money.
Elle a avoir un sourire taquin, la main posée sur le menton.
Honestly, I think it's quite funny. I think he's still sending out holiday transmissions from Tulula or Tiumotiri or Hashtkor or wherever he is.
Intéressant, que dit ces transmissions?
The usual, I imagine. That he's been thinking up all kinds of new business plans and can't wait to get started on them just as soon as he returns.
Elle sourit de toutes ses dents avant de se raviser en voyant le visage du lieutenant derrière vous. On pourrait peut-être apprendre le mot de passe, par contre.
Men like that are a curse.
J'ai un fichonneur sévère.
Sure, but Slipstream is history now. All their remaining assets got seized by the bailiffs in 47. I have no idea why those skis and blades are still lying around in the house. Not much use now, I guess.
Je suis tombé sur une machine bizarre.
Fortress Accident, the radio game studio.
Elle ferme les yeux et un souvenir enfoui illumine son visage.
She liked them.
They were an interesting bunch. We talked about role-playing systems every now and then. Once, I even saw two of them get into fisticuffs over Wirral.
Ok.
They certainly took their work very seriously, even if they seemed to be chronically liberal with their schedules.
Comment ça, par-dessus la jambe? Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé?
The usual. They ran out of money and couldn't get the project done on time.
Oh non. Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé?
Well, I did hear them talking at times.
Elle jette un regard dans la hall comme si elle pouvait encore les entendre papoter de l'autre côté du rideau pendant la pause clope.
They seemed to believe they were historical individuals on some grand quest.
De ce que j'en sais, le projet avait l'air quand même impressionnant.
Yes, but when the money started to run out, they just began to complain a lot about capitalism. You know, how the markets are rigged to keep out new businesses and so on. In the end, they just didn't get it done. They didn't have enough willpower to produce something truly historic.
She's right. Showing up to work on time is important. Showing up to work on time is hard. No, scratch that. Showing up to work at all is difficult, especially if you've been drinking.
Faut dire que c'est super dur de se pointer toujours à l'heure. Dommage, moi je les aurais financés, le projet avait l'air démentiel. Vous avez raison, ils ont manqué de détermination. Ils avaient toutes les cartes en main pour réussir. Votre choix. 1, 2 ou 3. Une petite gorgée d'eau de mon côté. Prenez la bouteille d'eau. L'électrochimie est vraiment nice. La classe qu'on a pris au début permet qu'on a beaucoup... ces conversations-là sont souvent des réussites. Ça aurait pas été la même chose si on avait pris une autre classe. J'aurais bien aimé ça voir des fails, qu'est-ce que ça aurait donné, mais... Who knows, peut-être qu'on va en avoir un peu plus tard. Alors, votre choix, 1, 2 ou 3. Ok. N'hésitez pas, guys. Pas spicy, t'en penses quoi? C'est dur, c'est super dur de se pointer toujours à l'heure, ou dommage, moi je les aurais financés, ou encore, vous avez raison, ils ont manqué de détermination.
And so it's producing something extraordinary.
Ses yeux parcourent les étagères remplies de prototypes de dés et de modèles abandonnés.
Something strains her face before she looks up again.
Anything else?
Non, j'aurais aimé ça avoir le mot de passe. Il y a un ours empaillé flippant dans la cave.
Oh boy, the fabled recherche ICT. You're in for a treat here.
Elle sourit et s'incline légèrement les mains sur les genoux à l'instar d'une comédienne s'apprêtant à réciter son
The
texte.
place was owned by two guys who had some rather innovative ideas about marketing. The bear was one of them. Now ask me about their other ideas.
Et quelle était leur autre idée?
There was really just one, and it involved picking out the prettiest girls in the neighborhood and paying them 20 cents per hour to man the booth. And by man the booth, I mean slump behind the counter with a face that could maim you if you ever dared to disturb their bored magazine browsing.
Elle s'incline en arrière et affiche un air désapprobateur.
Sounds like she really didn't like those girls.
En même temps, ma scène de l'heure, c'est une bonne misère. C'est un miracle qu'elle se soit pointée au boulot. C'est l'initié. Il n'y a pas 36 façons d'embaucher quelqu'un. Je n'ai aucune envie sur le recrutement d'adolescents. Je veux simplement savoir si leur entreprise a prospéré.
Oh, but they did. They did show up to work, and not alone. There were also acne-ridden girlfriends and gorilla-like boyfriends loitering near the ice cream stand. And they already had the bear.
Elle ferme les yeux comme pour conjurer un souvenir douloureux. J'aime pas ce qu'elle vient de dire. Et l'ours alors?
The bear.
Répète-t-elle tout en pressant ses pouces contre sa tempe, comme pour calmer une migraine. Ça n'a pas marché!
Of course not. The bear was terrifying. No one wants ice cream guarded by a hostile apex predator. To make matters worse, the fridge didn't work too well either, and half the ice cream came out malformed and partially melted. Eventually, Ravishell ICT lost the price war to its rival, Glace 5000. Glace 5000 sold caramel sundaes for only 5 cents apiece, out of regular fridges.
Je suis sûr que l'ours s'est donné beaucoup de mal.
Maybe, because the taxidermist who made that bear definitely wasn't. Doing his best, I mean.
What? Pourquoi ça?
He said that the bear was his vision beast. He said he met his vision beast while high on desiccants. Called it Megatherion.
Mégatherion.
Scary, but cool.
Mégatherion?
Megatherion, a mega wild beast.
Ok. C'est quoi une méga bête sauvage? Intéressant, mais... Non. C'est quoi une méga bête sauvage?
It's an imaginary beast that guides you through life by telling you to do more drugs, mostly.
Ah, ok.
A wise and noble beast, guiding you toward the land where the streets are paved with drugs. The horrific necktie tightens around your neck, strangely excited. But it doesn't feel particularly fun this time around.
Oh non, la cravate est de retour. Je prends de la drogue. Il y a aussi une créature de thème. J'ai aucun commentaire à faire sur la drogue. Ça s'appelle la cravate et ma monnaie. C'est pas le moment, espèce de bête démoniaque.
What?
Oh wow. Est-ce qu'il arrive que votre créature totem prenne en otage votre plaisir?
No, officer. I don't have a vision beast. Normal people don't have vision beasts. Only drug-addled madmen like the taxidermist do.
C'était une question hypothétique.
Right.
Pour répondre à la fabricante de dés, elle n'a pas l'air entièrement convaincue.
Anyway, now you know the story of the fallen ice cream empire.
Good! Ok, elle a l'air presque triste en terminant son histoire. Des particules de poussière dansent dans l'air. Elle les suit nonchalamment du regard. On va y arriver.
Outside it's light. Light scatters from the low-hanging cloud cover. There's
Anything else? Another failed business, perhaps? I've been here for a long time.
Non, on n'a plus rien, on a tout épuisé.
Good. I hope it clarified things a bit. What else?
Des questions à poser sur le bâtiment?
I'm listening.
Non, non, ok. On les a toutes posées.
Good. I hope it clarified things a
C'était
bit.
louche.
What else?
Très bien, je voudrais vous commander des dés.
Of course. Tell me what you have in mind.
Vous avez des dés maudits, parlez-moi de votre pièce maîtresse. En fait, je sais pas sur quel démon évolue. Un dé normal, ça ira bien. Tout ce qu'il y a de plus classique. Qu'est-ce qui irait bien avec votre personnalité? On y va avec We're All, le cataclysme. Vous connaissez, je veux un dé pour ce jeu.
Ah, yes. Fortress accident. It's too bad they never finished their game. The Wiro Untethered die is a variation of a standard role-playing die. Only, instead of plants, it uses motives of ice and death. And loss, of course. I'm thinking something made from alligator jawbone, cast in black resin. The reptile bone is as white as ice and dead as, well, death. For 7 real, I could have it ready in 8 hours.
Oh, 7 réal, on l'a. Marché conclu.
Great. See you in 8 hours then. Was there anything else?
Précisez un petit carnet posé sur la table pour me continuer quelque chose. Bon, fait que 8 heures plus tard, on va avoir notre dé. Sauvegarde automatique, yay! Ok, donc on redescend, on va leur reparler à la patiente. Il y a juste quelque chose de manque.
tiles on the cube are still smoldering, casting the framework in a soft glow. Like a smooth draw, nothing happens.
Non, ok, ça marche pas. Non! On va prendre le cube.
Tiles on the cube are the filament slides out.
Nick, il y a peut-être la réponse.
Your flashlight slides over an old green chalkboard covered in scribbles. Some of the writing has faded with age.
Ok, fait que ça, on l'avait déjà vu. Je sais ça pour ça.
This old fireplace diagram for summoning some time-forgotten being. Radio frequencies, it seems, unclear.
Ok.
It looks like a cardiovascular system split into veins and capillaries. Very advanced. Perhaps. The web is comprised of radio stations, all lead back to one red heart, titled the Game Master Frequency. A note says, this one can listen in on any station it wants. Looks like a surveillance program.
Ok.
Whoever decides to order this is gone.
My God. It's as if the less money they had, the more ambitious their project became. The schedule.
On veut juste
Nothing.
sortir de là.
It's just
Ok, parfait. Récupérer vos dés. Ça après dans le temps, récupérer là, dans la zone comme ça, maudite. N'oubliez pas de prendre de l'argent. Donc, logiquement, c'est plate qu'il soit pas marqué quelle heure qu'il était là. Il est 16h, donc à 24h, c'est 24. On va pouvoir s'en rappeler. Ce ne sera pas évident. Parler du punching bag, tantôt j'aurais aimé ça, voir s'il y avait vraiment quelque chose dedans. Ok. Hello?
What have you found? And also, do buy the books. There may be teachings in them.
J'ai discuté avec l'entité dont vous avez parlé. Elle s'appelle Neha, et c'est une fabricante de dés fantaisistes.
A novelty dice maker? Well, spit it out. Why does she need the dice? For some kind of sorcery? Sometimes they use the ankle bones of sheep.
Ce n'est ni une sorcière ni une entité malveillante, c'est une femme d'affaires comme vous. Non, madame, j'ai ressenti son aura, elle n'est pas responsable de cette malédiction. Elle y est peut-être mêlée, mais je n'ai plus de quoi interroger cette entité malveillante.
I don't understand. If you're not sure it's her, then where is the source of the doom? How did she explain the curse?
Laisse-moi perplexe.
Just don't say you don't have any answer yet. The uncertainty is killing her. You've come this far, you know how to end it. There is an entity behind the entity.
Une autre entité bien plus malveillante qui tire les ficelles à Martinez. Peut-être que je croiserai un jour sa route. La source se situe dans la boutique du taxidermiste. Il s'est frotté à des arts bien plus sombres que la taxidermie a libéré les esprits de l'abysse dans son magasin. Très franchement, je n'ai pas encore de réponse. Non, pas ça.
A third order presence, yes.
Les relâches sont pas mentir.
A great dark relief washes over her.
I've heard of these triactors. In certain occult literature, that's too dark to dwell on for too long, and definitely not in public.
Elle vous fait signe de vous taire.
I understand everything, sir.
Oh,
Thank you for your
damn!
descending into the maelstrom. I will keep fort up here, strengthen the wards, do my best. And if you happen upon the third entity in your travels,
70 d'expérience réussie.
may the Lord be with you.
Il prend un signe de croix sur sa poitrine.
Well, this has been absolutely educational. If we happen on the third presence in our travels, we will certainly come back to tell you.
Yes, the venture continues. In other waters, darker waters.
Should we get out of here before the vortex collapses?
Ok, bye. On a reçu un point. Ouais. Ben ça, c'est ça, on est fort là-dedans puis là-dedans. Les points qu'on peut améliorer, c'est tous les petits losanges comme ça. On va améliorer un peu notre perception. Fiez-vous à votre vue, à votre oui et à votre odorat pour ne pas laisser échapper aucun détail. Ouais, je pense que c'est le test. Ok. Livre à offrir et bonbons produits. Bon, on sort de là. On n'a pas trop de temps dans cette place-là. Notre enquête n'avance pas du tout. On est... C'est vraiment juste excellent. Faut écouter ça. Ok. Qui a jeté les vêtements? Demandez à la garde si c'est... Ok. Donc on va falloir aller parler à la garde. On peut-tu aller voir le corps encore? On va aller voir.
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The body below is entirely dedicated to that corpse smell. Emitting it is all it does now.
Plus 6 parce que votre merde est compressée, ça c'est drôle en tabarnane.
Ha ha ha. Again, the corpse laughs at you, pus dripping from its mouth. You will never be able to hold it in. It's always too much.
Oh non.
Every time it happens, it gets worse and
C'est
worse.
3 points qui
There's
vomit.
nothing more to throw up now. All that's left is crying and convulsing dryly at the same time.
Effectivement, bien lancé. Ah, c'est pas ici, bien lancé. Oh, wow. Alors, que je vais bien serrer les couilles. Comment c'est possible que je vais bien serrer les couilles? Comment c'est possible?
I'm at a loss as well. I could swear your shit was together, detective.
Sometimes even that is not enough. Life is unfair.
Fais quoi maintenant?
Officer, you just need to be stronger. Learn to keep it in long enough for us to work. There's nothing else to do.
Wow.
You can open this white check again by going to your character sheet and spending a skill point to upgrade your endurance. Gain new skill points by exploring and completing side tasks.
Ah, bon, su, pour vrai.
Relax. It's okay if you don't make it today. The bloated corpse isn't going anywhere.
Sérieux, là. Hey, pourquoi qu'il... Hein? Il y a de la
Fuck does
l'écriture.
Kuno care?
Une autre question sur les lieux du
Yeah.
crime.
The kingdom of Kuno? The fuck do you want with it?
Non.
Yeah, whatever. Kuno doesn't give a shit.
Essayez de sonner, non.
Kuno doesn't fuck.
Oui, ok. Voilà, ça n'a pas d'importance. On peut-tu réinteragir avec?
There are several footprints in the mud, left by work boots. Anywhere from 6 to 12 pairs have walked
Ah,
here.
ok. Faut qu'on peut pas rien faire là non plus. Oh, il y a quelque chose là.
An inconspicuous pile of the roofing material Eternite.
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
It's nothing. Someone just left some roofing material slanted against an old
Ouais.
shack.
Pourquoi est-ce que je regarde ce matériau pour toiture?
Because it's nice and orderly. Well-laid pallets. Easy on the eyes.
Comment à chaque fois? On a eu 10, ça prenait 11. Comment à chaque fois qu'on peut tomber à un de moins que ça? Ça n'a pas d'allure.
No, there's more to this. You get this strange feeling.
Quelle sensation?
Hard to say. It's gone now. Feelings pass, you see.
Oh!
Especially the small ones.
Oh mon dieu, hein? Il va être long. On va le laisser aller à sa vitesse. My god, que je peux pas être chanceux là-dessus. En fait, on va juste enlever ça de jeu. C'est gossant. Hey!
You see a set of tire tracks in the brown slush that covers the plaza mosaic.
Ok, quel genre de véhicule a pu traverser ça?
Hard to say. Your vision is blurred and you're having difficulty concentrating thanks to your relentless hangover.
Pourquoi je regarde ça?
Cop habit. You look at everything. No, these tracks are not interesting at all. Let the street sweeper just sweep them away.
Encore de 1! Ce jeu fait exprès. Clairement qu'il fait exprès. Fait qu'il avait l'air de partir comme ça, de s'en aller par là. On va mettre ça pour le verre et utiliser l'entrée principale.
Scab?
Demande un type au gars aimable en inclinant sa tête.
What did he just call you? Hey. Oh no, not this again. You just got away from that fucking kid.
Ah, j'ai pas envie de remettre ça. Tu viens de péter le fion ou quoi?
No, I said scab.
Ok. Oh, je suis pas au fion, je suis ok.
I was just messing with you. No one's ever seen a cop scab. Imagine, you cops going on a strike, but then another cop comes in and says, let us cop for less money.
Huh.
Speaking of, what brings the RCM here? To the wild north? Come to see the strife?
Je suis venu enquêter sur un meurtre.
Murder, huh?
That's nice.
That sounds like a lot of hard work. You'd never see me investigating a murder.
Oh my god, c'est presque impossible, je suis sûr à 91%. Non. Ah, peut-être veux-tu m'aider à le résoudre en me disant qui l'a fait?
Of course, Policia. It wasn't me. You can rule me out. Easier that way.
Should we? He's nice. I don't like nice.
Pourquoi cette grève au fait?
You know, serious business. I'm sure the big boss will be glad to tell you. You'll have to ask him first.
Bon.
He's a chatty guy. Wants to talk about the strike. Return once you've met the union boss and are on a better footing with the organization.
Je dois savoir ce qui se trouve derrière sa porte. J'explore.
My friend, I respect the right to roam. The open range awaits.
Il regarde le rond-point avec une lueur de nostalgie. Ça signifie que tu peux me laisser franchir la porte?
I don't operate in that capacity. I'm not a granter of passage. The passage grants itself.
Ok, c'est tout simple que ça. J'entre les mains dans mes poches.
I walk right past Measurehead and go in.
Devant George Caboche.
Yeah, the 2.5 meter tall Semini supremacist. Walk right past him,
Yeah, right, je risque de mourir. Je vois.
then press the button to unlock the door, then
D'accord.
go past him again,
D'accord.
and you enter the arbor through the office. Está.
Ah, mon petit doigt me dit que ça va pas être aussi simple.
Don't worry, I'm sure it's not completely impossible. For example, you could best Measurehead in a physical confrontation,
Ben oui.
or you could convert to a Semini supremacist worldview. Or, maybe it actually is completely impossible.
Quelqu'un l'a déjà vécu? Non. Est-ce qu'un des Roufions a déjà essayé de se convertir à la vision du monde?
Jean-Luc himself would say the philosophy has proven overly heroic for the scabs to convert to. Not enough intuition.
Puis je voulais aussi te demander.
Sure,
Je suis un peu à court de fric en ce moment. T'as pas de quoi m'aider?
sure thing, my friend. I can help you out.
J'ai une pièce de monnaie d'une chicnaude dans votre direction.
The coin narrowly slips by your outstretched fingers and falls to the ground.
Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to throw it like that. It's a thing we harbor folk do, passing around cargo and such. Was not meant as provocation or ridicule.
The boyadero stares at you with respect, then gestures towards the trickles of blood adorning your clothes.
Merci.
Right, always glad to help out the RCM. We're on the same branch, you and I. Humans, I mean, not slithering scabs.
Ok, c'est sympa d'avoir discuté avec toi. Je vais pas y aller. C'est sûr que si on monte en haut, on meurt. Fait que. Une note en cas de grève, appuyez sur le bouton derrière le dispositif de sécurité. Une porte scellée hermétiquement, elle est fermée grâce à un système électronique. Impossible de clocher ou de défoncer cette porte. Bon, pas de problème. Un vrai monolithe, ok, j'imagine que la seule affaire qu'on peut faire, c'est aller là.
Your body betrays your degeneracy.
Yeah, Measurehead. His body totally betrays his degeneracy.
La pauvre la jeune femme se tenant au côté du géant.
Don't say anything. Size him up first.
Ne rien dire et continue à l'évaluer.
Are you admiring my morphophysiology?
Un tressaillement secoua tous ses muscles, le traverse, puis il vous laisse le regarder.
It must be frightening to stand in the shadow of this racial pinnacle. Be calm, Ham Sandwich. You are
Ham Sandwich.
not in danger because you are not a threat to me.
Bon, oui, le torse ne rien dire.
What is this androgynous display of sexual maturity?
Il vous regarde de haut en évaluant votre physique.
Merely standing up makes you sweat profusely. Your breathing is erratic. Your own heartbeat in your ears grows frantic, and you feel your blood pressure rise.
Uh-oh.
Stop it! You are embarrassing yourself in front of this woman and your pedomorphic friend.
C'est chiant ça pour l'autre com.
This display of weakness may appeal to older women with a stronger maternal instinct, but it is a liability here on Battlefield Martinez.
Uh-huh.
Jean-Luc, his body is betraying his degeneracy pretty hard. Maybe you can ask him to leave.
Ok. Mon corps n'a pas d'importance, je suis pas ici, on doit entrer dans ce sport.
That is precisely the negligence that has led you to succumb to Al-Ghul.
Ton visage se contorsionne de dégoût, comme s'il sentait un remords.
You reek of it. An invisible sword of Al-Ghul emerges from your throat. You cannot see it, but others can. It is making the woman in my company sick.
Attendez, Al-Ghul?
Yes, Al-Ghul.
Al-Ghul. Mais qu'est-ce que signifie Al-Ghul?
Al-Ghul is an ancient Ilmaran poison, a parasitic fungus that has colonized your race. It is a trick the desert pygmies played on you for humiliating them and stripping them of their land.
Ça explique tout.
Servitude to Al-Ghul does not explain everything. There are other reasons for your race descent.
Hey, mais ça pue à ce point.
It's not good.
It's like a rat crawled into your stomach, got drunk, and drowned.
Ok. Vous avez raison, je suis un serviteur d'Al-Ghul, mais j'ai toujours besoin d'entrer dans ce confort. J'ai aucun problème de Al-Ghul. Je picole un peu, c'est sûr que j'ai besoin de. Désolé, j'ai besoin que vous ouvriez la porte du bar.
No, you don't. You need to get another drink. Occidental Haplogroup B4 is done giving orders around here. The influence of the ham sandwich race is waning.
Il est désillusionnel pour vrai.
Show him the ham still got it.
En fait, je pense que la race de sandwich au jambon n'a pas dit son dernier mot. Je suis de la police et j'ai besoin de votre coopération sur le champ. Peu importe votre théorie des races,
Jerking motions, signs of a late-stage neurodegenerative disorder. How far the Occidental Haplogroup has fallen.
Dans une réflexion
You were once a noble and powerful race. You gave the world eugenics, electricity, and powerful weapons of war like missiles and aerostatic aircraft. You made great gains in metallurgy, race theory, and statecraft.
Il a dit 2 mots en français durant son discours.
You dominated lesser cultures, like the deformed Hemians and the inexplicably potato-obsessed Khoikos. But now your ascent to the genetic summit has halted. You are obsessed with sadness and with frivolous pop culture. You will be superseded. Isn't that right, babe?
It is, baby, yeah.
Oh my God.
You know it.
Full de George Camoche.
There is a button right behind him, just out of reach. It must be the one that opens the door to the harbor.
Ok. Allez, j'ai juste besoin que vous recueilliez une vingtaine de centimètres.
It is my task to keep the degenerate drunks from entering the harbor.
Vous avez raison sur toute la ligne. Maintenant, j'ai besoin que vous me laissiez passer, oui.
Enough with this begging. You should leave the stage of history with dignity by inviting the other races to a great world war. Bring your troops to the Simonine Islands and to Boogie Street, and we will pulverize you. When you are gone, we will build a museum for you. The walls will be lined with bottles of Al-Ghul, your beloved beverage. Inside, we will store the odes to homosexuality you call art, and your microcephalic skulls.
This is your chance. He's talking. Rip into him with a punch and catch him off guard. No, don't rip into anyone. You're sensitive. Remember? Communicate.
Non, on va essayer même. Adhérer à ta théorie avancée des races. Come on.
Go ahead. Don't be shy. Just ask for race secrets.
Colin. Le sourire pathétique. Je vais en apprendre plus sur nos théories des races pour que nous puissions devenir amis. Mon cerveau a besoin de vos théories raciales. Imprégnez-moi.
Inane popular culture lingo. It is intellectually uninteresting to sock anything to an infant such as you.
Que savez-vous à propos de ce mug?
He does not so much as glance at the object.
Vous l'avez jeté à la poubelle récemment?
Stop showing me your pathetic cup. I have no interest in it.
Does he strike you as the kind of man who puts monks into trash?
Syndicat, non. Les membres ne sont-ils pas blancs? Et moi, toi, je vais dire quoi?
Racists are generally not very good examples of their race.
Il fait un geste vers le camionneur qui se trouve en bas de la rue.
I am not like them. I am craniometric perfection. I have taken the trouble to permanently draw a phrenologic grid on my skull and features. This should dispel any doubt.
C'est vrai, c'est de la perfection craniométrique. Ma race n'a aucune chance. Êtes-vous certain que je ne suis pas craniométriquement supérieur?
You exhibit forward projection of the jaw, indicative of schizophrenia and sexual inaccountability.
Colin.
From a purely aesthetic standpoint, the dimple in your jaw makes you look like a baby. This is not craniometry, just an observation.
Quoi d'autre?
It is impossible to see any more of your bone structure. It is covered in the ravages of Al-Ghul. From what remain of your features, I can see fleshy lips, baldness of the head, and long arms relative to lower limbs. This leads me to conclude you are not a police officer.
What?
You are a common criminal, an offspring of murderers and sailors from Sur la Clé and Vesper, and possibly even the degenerate sheep herders of Ubi.
Intéressant. Donc, un de mes ancêtres était de Sur la Clé et l'autre de Vesper.
Your racial heritage is uninteresting. It is the same as all Rivasholians. Your parents and their parents made the decision to reproduce while under the influence of Al-Ghul. That is the only reason you are here.
He's right there. It's almost impossible to get it on unless you're both drunk. It's too scary when people are sober.
Imaginez si je réussis 17%, là, c'est bien. No way!
Just like that,
Oh!
instinct took over. A solid strike straight
Oh!
into his throat, into the cartilage. You could swear you felt the soft palate.
Oh! J'ai eu un succès garanti de 6 plus 6. C'est un succès garanti. J'en reviens pas, mon personnage n'est plus genre zéro physique. Tout ce que je faisais depuis le début, c'est à perdre. C'est un truc légendaire, un truc terrifiant. J'ai réussi, c'est malade.
The man is reeling, gasping for air. Time stands still around you. In the distance, the sounds of the harbor are falling silent.
Ça, c'est à cause des gants jaunes.
All you hear is a small gurgling sound as a trickle of blood appears on the man's lip. He's open. Rip into him. Right hook. Escalate it. Get intimate with him. Bring the hurt closer.
Défoncer sa garde avec un crochet, tu vois. Ah non! Je suis mort!
You feel something in your chest, an unnatural pressure. It's spreading to your left arm, your jaw.
Grenade, quelqu'un!
Yeah, screaming isn't happening on account of extreme shortness of breath. You're just making it worse.
Essayez de rester
Oh
conscient.
God, it's all you feel is pain and weakness. Cop suffers final heart attack. A detective lieutenant of the RCM passed away yesterday. His death, though
Bon,
abrupt,
ça me marque pas que la dernière fois. Non. ici. C'est mis à bugger tout d'un coup. On s'entend que c'est sûr que je réussis pas.
Body
Yeah, man.
Don't say anything.
Are you? It must be frightening to stand in the shadow. What is this?
Merely standing up makes you sweat for
Stop it! You are embarrassed. This display.
Jean-Luc, his body is betraying his degeneracy pretty hard. Maybe you can ask him to...
That is precise. You reek of it. Yes. Al-Ghul is an ancient Ilmaran. Servitude to Al-Ghul.
It's not good.
It's like a rat crawled into your stomach, got drunk and drowned.
No, you don't.
Show him the ham still got it.
Willingly calling yourself a ham sandwich. How far the Occidental haplogroup has fallen. You gave the world eugenics. You dominated. You will be superseded.
It is, babe.
There is a button right behind him, just out of reach. It must be the...
Enough. We bring your troops to the walls.
This is your chance. No, don't rip into anyone. You're sensitive. Remember? Communicate. Ask what kind of races there are first. Classification is core to this stuff.
Bon, on a réussi l'autre truc, mais d'une autre façon. Faut vraiment que je règle mon problème de santé. Ça n'a pas de moi tout à l'heure. Louche-caboche, je suis nouveau dans ce monde. Aidez-moi à comprendre ces races. J'ai besoin de savoir quelles sont les différentes races qui existent.
Do you?
En effet.
There are 3 categories of race. Type A, the heroic races. Type B, the servile races. And the vile CF race cauldron of pederasty. Which one do you need education on? Those are the Simonese, the Areopagite, and the Occidentals, excluding the Mao.
Coucou Océane, comment vas-tu?
The Mao are riddled with eczema to the point where they find it impossible to smile. They are all lactose intolerant, a common result of inbreeding.
Je te donne ça à la fin du stream, d'accord? Est-ce que ça te va? Ben, ah ben moi, je suis pas au travail, hein. Non, ça va bien pour elle. J'ai mal de gorge encore, tous quelques fois. Et mis à part ça, ça va bien. Laisse-moi 2 secondes, ma chère. Je vais juste aller... Laisse-moi 2 secondes, je vais essayer de te trouver ça. C'est fait! C'est fait! Et voilà, tu devrais avoir un petit diamant à côté de ton nom maintenant.
A receding genetic pool has led the Mound on reprehensible street parades in Mound cities like Stades Canal and Vredefort, wearing wooden clogs on their feet and little green tassels on their hats.
Attends, C'est qui exactement ces mondes?
You know them by the names of their nation states. The Oranese, the Gotwaldians, and the
Comment tu veux que je me rappelle de ça?
My people simply call them Maun. The Maun are proof that you can have too much Occidental racial purity in Tasso-centric culture. Inbreeding has led to a lactose-intolerant subrace whom no one can take seriously.
J'ai compris. Et selon vous, à quoi ressemble le Tibet?
The Vespertines and Messenians of Vesper and Messina, the ancient Meteorans, Meteo by the golden Pisantic Sea, the Suren of Sur-la-Clé, and even the North Königsteiners, all have Type A race propensities. The other large mondial civilization, the Mesk, are too yellow and oleaginous to count as a heroic race. True, they are violent and expansionist, but they have a glandular problem.
Il se passe le doigt sur le visage. Tellement de spooky, un peu crazy.
Overproduction of sebum. Sebum is leaking into their brains, making them listen to El Mariachi music and eat toxic minced meat-based food, which in turn only produces more sebum.
Et qui sont les Séminaires et les aréophagites dans tout ça?
As proven by the Maun and the Mesk, Occidental Type A is in retrograde. The Seminese and the Areopagites are on the ascent.
Quelles sont les différences entre les Séminaires et les aréophagites?
The Areopagites are sleek, long-headed. The Seminese are powerful, mesomorphic. The former is an immutable progenitor, unchanged since the Super Isola of Pericarnassus. Ancient brains rest in their slender skulls.
Je comprends rien de ce qu'il parle depuis le début. Il s'était réfléchissant à la beauté au mystère.
The latter is perfected and adapting. Together they form the Simeno-Areopagite or Simeopagite super race. That is all. There are no more Type A races in the world.
Ok.
Nature was not capable of more.
Le type B.
Type B are the unheroic races. Amorphous non-competitors of the great race. The Koikos and the Vacholiers, they are mud-colored people. To an untrained eye, the Koiko appear white and pinkish, like a handsome witch. But look into their eyes and you will see. They are of an indistinct muddy color, and so is their skin. Unhealthy, sweaty, and ashen. Pinkness is a racial quality that has to be earned through centuries of advanced ballistic warfare and cultural domination that the Grad people have undergone for drinking alcohol and smoking the degenerate tobacco herb and for eating potato. The Koiko, the countless micronationalities of Grad, are all inexplicably obsessed with potat.
Potat?
The only thing they like more is dividing into microscopic ethnostates, like political amoeba.
Les Vacholiens que tu mentionnes.
The Vacholians, halfway between Type A and the racial cauldron. Two makes to know right from wrong. You tried your degenerate little revolution, which was the single greatest failure committed by humans in our 82,000-year history on this planet.
Is it 82,000 years that we've been recording history? You have very little idea of what is happening, but that seems a little off.
Je suis presque sûr que l'histoire n'a pas duré si longtemps.
The mysteries of the people of this planet are a tragedy that has played out countless times over, like a fever dream of skin, hair, and bone. Wake up, naive Chespias.
Quand tu parlais de cette révolution, des erreurs ont été commises, mais c'était la bonne chose à faire. Vous avez tort. Révolution a été perpétrée par des maraudeurs dégénérés de gauche, pas partout des habitants de Ravachol.
The revolution came to Ravachol from Grad, in Zaras ridden potato carts. It is literally an illness, a prion disease that leaves the parietal and frontal lobe ridden with holes. A soft, sponge-like mass of dementia, hallucination, and paranoia. The revolution is fatal familial insomnia. A hereditary prion condition passed from the Khoico to the Occidentals. But not sexually. Probably through trade routes and potate acid, the prime component of the potato plant.
Man, il y a vraiment quelque chose contre les pommes de terre, right?
Enough of Tibet mediocrity.
Le visionnement de la pédérastie de la race CF, s'il vous plaît.
Tips CF are a museum of failed chimeric experiments and tragic maladaptations. They are tortured creatures waiting to be put to sleep. Your morbid interest in them worries me.
Je pense qu'on va se faire une émoticône de patate. Des expériences chimériques?
Lesser races like the mosquito, a grotesque mixture of a masked woman and a Seminese man. Only possible if the mother is masked and the father Seminese. The other way around, they fail to produce offspring.
Ah, intéressant.
The mosquito is born sterile, like a donkey. All they have left is to ride customized motor carriages with hydraulic suspension, listening to aggressive El Mariachi music to vent their impotent despair.
Il y en a d'autres?
Then there is the Simino Koiki Chimera. Are you sure you wish to know of the Simino Koiki Chimera? It is not an aesthetic site. The Koiko, as you know, are very servile, especially when they meet the rich man. Racial scientists have toyed with the idea of crossing the Seminese with the Koiko to produce a super worker of Seminese strength and Grad servility. This will never happen. The Seminese and the Koiko may have similar interbreeding problems as the mosquito. We will never know precisely. No Seminese man could maintain an erection in the suffocating potato stench of a Koiko woman or Koika.
Est-ce qu'ils viennent vraiment de dire aucun homme séminise ne pourrait maintenir une érection dans la puanteur de patates étouffantes d'une femme Koiko ou Koika? Est-ce que j'ai... Aïe aïe. Qu'est-ce que c'est ça? David. Sérieusement, guys.
But enough. It is cruel to entertain ourselves with the deformities of Type F. Were there any able-bodied races you needed education on?
Je suis cassé de l'intérieur. On peut pas se regarder astiqué. Maintenant là que nous avons passé à relever tous les types, est-ce que je comprends la théorie raciale avancée?
You understand nothing. To solve the great race enigma, you have to first ask yourself, what is the race enigma? You have not even worded the mystery, let alone solved it.
Comment formuler ce mystère?
You need to internalize what you have heard here today, then return to me. This clarity does not come instantly.
Parlons d'autre chose.
I cannot possibly imagine what else we have to discuss, Tibere Vacholian. Your love for disco music and venere...
Oh man. C'est combien de temps? 1h40, pas super. On va intérioriser celle-là. Ah, damn, ça me fait péter les ordres dramatiques, mais ça me monte de 1 de stupidité. Well, on n'a pas le choix. On veut continuer de ce bord-là, on n'a pas le choix. Ok, bon. Attendez combien de temps? Bien. J'essaie d'atterrir, avancer des races dans un emplacement d'être de réalisation libre dans votre tête. Oui. Hey! Fait que logiquement, mais que celle-là soit finie, on peut faire celui-là, right? Ou les deux vont avancer tranquillement pas vite. Je sais pas, hein? Je sais pas encore exactement comment ça fonctionne, cette affaire-là. J'imagine le personnage, il est aussi qui aurait cru parler des réactions dans l'implanteur des patates. L'auteur a sûrement aucune espèce d'idée. Mais wouh! On va aller s'acheter de quoi parce que je peux pas me permettre de perdre des points de vie. Même mourir souvent, là, ça n'a pas de maudit son. Un, faut que je m'achète des globes.
Welcome to Frit. Feel free to.
What's that magazine she's reading?
Tu dis quoi?
You mean this?
Elle regarde la couverture que l'on voit, où l'on voit la photo colorée de deux jeunes filles en train de danser.
This is Pop Stars. It's got like famous people in it. It's not for sale.
Looks like it also has something called Police de la Mode, featured on page 34. This speaks to you.
Oublie ça, c'est quoi la police de la mode?
It's where they rate different outfits famous people wear. It's kind of funny. They're kind of mean. It's about who's the most stylish.
Montrer sa casquette. Je parie que ta casquette rapporterait le prix.
No. I don't like it. I hate it.
Oh non.
We are not the fashion police. We're the real police.
Continuons, j'ai quelques questions à te poser.
Okay. I'm not really supposed to be chatting to anyone, but...
Qu'est-ce que tu peux me dire à propos du cadavre?
I don't really know anything. I mean, I know it's there, but I haven't seen it, so...
À ton avis, qu'est-ce qui s'est passé?
I don't know.
No need to worry. It's just standard procedure for us to ask around. If you hear anything, let us know, okay?
Okay.
Tu connaissais l'homme qui est décédé?
Not really.
Pas vraiment? Alors tu le connaissais un peu?
No. I didn't know him at all.
Fait combien de temps qu'il était accroché à cette
I
arbre?
don't know, really long.
Merci.
Uh-huh.
Peux-tu me parler de la réalité dans laquelle nous sommes?
Reality? You mean, what reality? Economic reality, or...?
Non, je veux parler de la réalité physique.
I don't know. What about it?
Où sommes-nous?
We're in Frit?
Non, je veux dire, où sommes-nous vraiment? Sur une plus grande échelle.
As mankind, or as a nation, or...
En tant qu'humanité.
In a good place?
Ça frotte le visage tout en réfléchissant.
I mean, science is doing great, and this radio computer thing seems to be kinda big. I don't know.
Elle hausse les épaules, puis ouvre son magazine. Quelle heure est-il?
I don't know. Look at the clock. It's right behind you on the wall.
The clock shows the time at 10:09. The hands seem to be still. It's apparent the clock doesn't work.
Tu peux me parler de la révolution?
When ordinary people take over the government and, demand democracy.
Et la révolution qu'il y a eu à Révechol. Tu peux m'en parler?
Yeah, it happened like 50 years ago or so. Sorry, I'm not very good at this. At history, I mean.
C'est quoi la coalition? Quelqu'un m'a dit qu'il y en avait une de coalition.
Our government? Or do you mean something else? Sorry, I really need to finish this article.
Je ne t'embêterai plus avec ces bêtises.
Cool.
Cool. Elle semble contente de se replonger dans la lecture. Est-ce que tu aurais de la maniaque à vendre?
She looks up from her magazine.
Yes, what we have is there, in the medicine cabinet. Go take a look yourself.
Okay.
A colourful display of cigarettes and
Again, I'm obliged to inform you that both alcohol and cigarettes damage your health.
Garrett Astra à 2,90, pas super. C'est juste qu'il nous faut l'argent tantôt. Il nous faut 7 piastres. Donc on va essayer de s'en reprendre.
Here you go, mister.
Ok. Partir. Il est là dans le cabinet.
A small cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles, nasal sprays, and blister packs. They all bear the Saint Baptiste Pharmaceutics logo.
Je veux juste savoir qu'est-ce qu'ils font chacun avant d'acheter quoi aussi.
I don't know. Let's see. Nosophed is a nasal spray. Dramamine, I don't really know what hypnogamma is. I guess it makes you feel less shit. Uh-huh. Okay, here. I hope Saint Baptiste makes you feel better or something.
C'était ça. Ok, good. Là, faut que je trouve comment vendre mes items. Fait comme ça, là, ça vaut 13$. Fait comment pour le vendre?
There it is, a brave little army in your pocket. The 1st Smokes Platoon. 20 brave souls standing in salute, ready to step into fire for you, sir.
Sortir une cigarette du paquet.
You picked the best one. This soldier is fat and succulent. What are you waiting for? Light up. Re-become yourself.
Oh yes, Bratan! Please light up! You need a trooper between your lips right now! Calm your shit down! Go to Pleasureland!
C'est parfait.
Become a genius!
Allumez la clope. Let's
Get
go.
a load of this rock and roll cop here, people. Johnny Thundercop fishes a cheap lighter out of his pants. With a flick of the thumb, there's fire. A primal satisfaction. Here we go.
Hey, you can't smoke in here.
Ouais, la fille ne laisse transparaître aucun intérêt ou
Please,
enthousiasme.
don't fuck with Frit.
Elle vous regarde à peine alors qu'elle continue. Ah.
Shut up. It's already happening.
J'affirme quelles seront les conséquences.
Repercussions. There's a high risk of glory, with a mild chance, cool genius. Smoking makes you into an intellectual. Everybody knows that. It will help you concentrate a bit. That much is true. It only lets you concentrate because you're in nicotine withdrawal. It only mitigates its own. Blah, blah, blah. Boring. Light it up. Thick, warm smoke gets sucked down into your lungs. Immediately, you feel a warm nostalgia fill your head, body, and soul. A nostalgia for yourself, the man you were in your youth. Johnny Thundercop is back, and he's chill as balls.
Nice, okay. Good.
In the bottom right corner of the screen, there's a cigarettes button. Cigarettes gives +1 to intellect skills. Logic, rhetoric, conceptualization, visual calculus, encyclopedia, and drama. This is good before a white check, but damages your health.
Non, c'est ça, j'ai vu une chose, j'ai pris. C'est ça ici. 30 points. Rendu à combien? 80. Fait qu'il nous en faut encore 20 pour pouvoir monter notre endurance, right? C'est-tu l'endurance que ça prenait déjà pour l'autre? Bien vite. Va vraiment pas falloir se tromper. Va falloir aller voir en arrière le corps et tout parce qu'on a encore manqué notre shot sur le corps. Alors, on s'est un peu tué à prendre des cigarettes, mais au moins, là, on a fini la mission. On en a fini une couple de missions. Ok. Il y a rien d'autre ici à interagir avec. Voilà dedans. Parler à notre guard. Une sauvegarde rapide. C'est qui lui? Je sais pas, ouais, vu quelqu'un d'autre. Il y a toujours une question d'argent, vous savez. Hey! La cuisine est couverte, guys!
can I help you?
Bon, sur ça, je vais t'abandonner là. Je te souhaite une bonne soirée et bonne nuit. À plus. Bonne soirée et bonne nuit à toi aussi, Hot Spicy. Merci d'avoir passé ce bon moment avec moi. J'espère que tu as eu du plaisir. Encore une fois, un gros merci. Ok, j'ai trouvé les vêtements de la victime dans la benne à ordures, là-bas derrière.
How strange. I certainly didn't put them there.
Oh. Est-ce que quelqu'un parmi vos employés aurait pu les poser là?
Sylvie had the keys before I got here, and I can vouch for her. I can vouch for all my staff. None of us would tamper with the crime scene.
Vous ne vous rappelez peut-être plus, vous étiez peut-être somnambule ou dans un second état. Qui d'autre possède la clé des bennes?
The trash collection service, CS Municipal. I don't see why they would put anything in the trash, though.
Ah, the elusive CS Municipal. I doubt we'll be able to track down who was sent here last and when. This will have to be one of those little threads that solves itself down the road.
On Clinton Street, near the Boogie Street Diamond, a small truck rattles down an alleyway. It stops by a rusted trash container. Two men, their faces rough and swollen, jump out. They look at the container despondently. CSM is written on their backs.
Thank you anyway.
Vous ne vous en rappelez peut-être plus, vous étiez peut-être somnambule ou dans un état
I think fugue states are more your forte, officer.
Effectivement, c'est plus mon style. Merci, changeons de sujet.
Yes.
J'ai vu quelque chose au Whirling Dart. Une chose dont il faudrait que je vous parle.
What thing?
Il y avait un panneau indiquant que le réfectoire était réservé au syndicat.
Yes, not the whole damn union, thank God. Just the nastiest and loudest faction.
Okay.
They come here in the evenings. Dumb, unruly types. Think they're big shit. But they're good customers. They place big orders and always pay on time.
He hates the Union, but grudgingly recognizes its power over him. So he's directing his frustration at you instead. Retaliate.
C'est dommage que vous soyez obligé de copiner avec le syndicat pour garder la tête dans l'eau. Laissez couler, vous n'êtes pas des
I don't. I'm simply providing a service, or really facilitating the offering of services to paying customers, and it doesn't matter. I don't have to explain myself to you.
We should find out who this Lord faction is, occupying the booth. Loudness means talkative, and we need info.
Ok. Et comment on peut les trouver?
We don't. We have to wait. They'll show up sooner or later. Men get hungry, even men on strike.
You glance at the clock on the wall behind the manager.
Il est plus de 16 heures, le panneau indique réservé à partir de 16 heures. Pourquoi y a-t-il encore personne?
Good question.
Il se tourne vers le patron du café.
They're probably getting drunk or protesting something somewhere, or laying low after the, lynching.
Whatever he may feel about you, he can't miss the opportunity to throw you a look of what he assumes is shared understanding. Go with it.
Ouais, je crois comprendre.
Yeah. The Union guys think they're untouchable. They probably fucking killed that guy or something, and now think they can hide out till it all blows over and it's fair weather again in Martinez.
I have a feeling we'll make their acquaintance sooner or later.
Je vais vous demander autre chose.
What?
By the way, you should come back to this thing-based questionnaire if you see anything interesting in the whirling later.
Ok. Enfin, je vais me faire un karaoké ici.
Absolutely out of the question.
You wait and see, cafeteria manager. Absolutely in the question. First we find a sad banger. Then we sing this place to shit.
Yes, have you got it?
No,
like what? Another thing. Great. Yes?
Au revoir. Ok, donc qui d'autre a un accès à l'autorisation à la bonne avant du warning? Trouvez cette personne et vous découvrirez qui a trafiqué la scène de crime. Ça prendra peut-être un peu de temps. Ok, bon temps. Carte. Oui. Je pense que c'est d'avoir la carte. Ils sont blancs, vous pouvez les tenter maintenant. J'en ai pas déjà un? Non, on peut retourner au miroir. Ok, la vaisselle est en train de sécher, l'odeur de produits chimiques de pain en émane. Des senteurs d'épices, d'alcool et de tomates flottent dans l'air.
A thin man is smoking below an exhaust hood, occasionally sipping from his mug. This must be the Whirling's cook. As you step in, he nods toward the table and says something in a completely foreign language. The only words you can make out are Garancy and Quebec. It must be his name. Garancy. Garancy Quebec. Sounds representative.
Bonjour monsieur, auriez-vous du temps pour quelques questions?
The man puts his cup down and replies something, his left hand drawing arcs in the air.
Vous en avez de belles casseroles?
He smiles and bangs his ladle against each of his pots in turn.
Je crois que ce sera tout, restez viril. Oh my god.
You see a heavy steel door with a prominent dimple lock. It's painted blue. You immediately feel drawn to the color. Blue is for mystery.
Je me demande où mène cette porte.
You do? It's a door in the back of the kitchen. Why do you care where it leads?
C'est l'effet Whirling in Rags, quelque chose à propos de cet endroit me donne envie de couiner.
Eccentric. But okay, I suppose we could look into it. As a side investigation.
He's not bothered by your eccentricity. He seems genuinely intrigued himself.
Oui, mini enquête secondaire.
Gart is the person to ask about this. The cafeteria manager.
The cobalt blue surface feels rough to touch. The stainless steel door is flush with its frame on every side. The door does not budge.
Ok. Sorry, Gart, mais il faut que je te reparle, faut que je te gosse encore et encore.
Can I help you? Another thing. Great. I love those.
Il y a une mystérieuse porte bleue en acier au fond de la cuisine.
Oh, yes, that door, sure. There's nothing mysterious about it. It's just a door.
Vous savez ce qu'il y a derrière? Avez-vous...
No, I don't have a key. I don't know how to get there. And I don't care either. It's not like I've been wondering about it for 10 years. It's just a frit warehouse, probably. Or some boring storage space with a bunch of old junk and dust.
Il passe son doigt sur le comptoir pour en vérifier la propriété.
He's attempting to maintain an air of indifference. It's absolutely not convincing.
Je pense que vous aimeriez savoir ce qui se cache derrière.
Fine, okay, a little. But my job doesn't leave me time for wondering about one locked door in one of the cafeterias I manage. So I haven't opened it. I have cleaned the whole place 100 times over, though, after the animals. And I haven't found a key, so good luck with that.
Ok.
Yes?
Ok, trouver un moyen de pénétrer dans le passage secret. C'est une autre histoire, Faut que tu vois en haut, on peut réinteragir avec le miroir de ce que j'ai compris. Peux-tu réinteragir avec elle?
The door is closed. This door can only be opened as you hold the metal. You sense the warmth left there by her. Still, nothing. The lieutenant gives you a... He doesn't like where this is going. You should punch a fucking hole in it. The murmur in your ears...
Ok, on s'en fout, là. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a là? bobine vide. Il y avait une bande magnétique sur cette bobine, mais elle a été pulvérisée dans un excès de rage. À croire que quelqu'un était sérieusement remonté contre le single de Tépémy, la plus petite église de Saint-Sérin. D'après l'étiquette, le morceau a été enregistré en 1943.
The bed is cold and not particularly inviting, but it's yours.
The option to go to sleep becomes available every night after 9 p.m.
Ok. Well. C'est bon à savoir.
The window stands broken in its frame. Cold wind blows in.
Come on.
What do you mean, assess the damage? How would you do that? What are you even trying to do?
Sérieux? J'avais 71% de réussir.
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall.
In
it, your face, adorned with the expression.
Oh ben, hein? Let's go. Qu'est-ce qu'on fait là?
Hello again, sweetie.
J'ai besoin d'argent, vous pourriez pas m'en donner?
Oh, sweetie, I heard your conversation with the manager about your financial troubles. When do you get your next paycheck?
If she could, this woman would feed and clothe you and every other sad, lost person on this earth. You've got guns of steel and a chiseled jaw, somewhere under the bloated alcohol layer.
Si je manque ça, là.
Maybe she'd like to sponsor you. Your deportment remains dignified as you shed a single manly tear.
C'est dur pour moi de demander ça à qui que ce soit d'ailleurs. Je suis au bout du rouleau. Même quelques centaurins m'aideront.
Sweetie, I only have a few cents on me, but I could give you this to pawn. Just to tide you over.
Wonderful. He has a pin.
The pin is round and slightly tarnished. 3 sailboats in bas-relief with the sun hovering over the water behind them. A chipped green banner at the bottom reads, San Baptiste, Summer 31, Dinghy Races.
Oh, puis je m'engage la broche.
Cross the plaza and follow the road along the coast. Down by the water, there'll be a shack nestled against an old stone facade. That's the pawn shop. An old friend of my husband's goes there often. He says the owner is quite helpful.
Items that can be pawned at Bird's Nest Roy's appear in your inventory under the Items tab. You can pawn these items when talking to Roy.
Ok. Merci, Lena. Ça me sera très utile.
You're quite welcome, dear.
Faut pas d'autres broches.
I hope you were able to pawn that old trinket.
Je vous remercie encore une fois.
Of course, dear.
Je dois partir
I just
maintenant.
wish I could have done more.
Ça vaut combien ça? Cette maudite broche. 3,20. Bon. On va nous donner 7 piastres qu'on a besoin. I guess the power of the map, right? Les hommes à pièce à être endommagés est inutilisable. Ouvert rond-point sur le nord. Appartement capside, appontement de martinez. Sur la publicité, les pieds peuvent être brisés. Tips répare.
This coin-operated viewer is facing southwest. Its coin slot is full of fossilized bubblegum, rendering the machine permanently inaccessible.
Pauvre petit téléphone.
The metal feels cold and wet under your palm. It looks unhygienic.
Du pur vandalisme.
Probably some kids.
Regarde à l'intérieur.
A thick layer of graffito covers the lenses. You spell out the word Onuk written on the other side, with N and C scribbled backwards.
Vous concentrez sur l'arrière-plan.
Under the graffito, a sea of blues and greys appear. Behind the water lies a coast studded with concrete and reeds. On it, a church on stilts, lanky weather-worn wooden planks, an X-shaped cross topping its tower. The church looks old and weather-worn. There are no lights in the windows. Around the large wooden building, you see chunks of sea ice gathered on the beach, and a small tent set up on the ice.
Si vous avez un sac, vous pourriez peut-être récupérer des bouteilles. Là. Well, on en a pas de temps. Un cormoran teuteur regarde la mer. Il reste indifférent à votre approche. Vous allez par là. C'était l'autre dude.
Are you trying to sneak up on me? Come to slit my throat in my sleep? Pigs come to take me out? Trying to snuff me out?
Est-ce que tu es en train de dormir?
Don't get fucking clever with me, pig. You think you're so clever.
Oh damn.
Trying to sneak up on me?
Tabarnak, c'est beau. Compris. Un tuyau d'arrosage, il ne sera d'aucune utilité tant que la neige n'aura pas fondu. Ok, c'est beau. Des chaises et des tables rongées par la pluie et la
What's that
nourriture.
noise down there?
You see a young man on a balcony nursing a cigarette. His eyes have been following you for a while.
Not looking for any trouble, officer.
Dit-il d'une voix posée. Malgré le froid, sa chemise est déboutonnée. Aucun homme ne part. Je veux juste savoir ce qui se passe ici.
I don't want to be seen talking to the gendarmerie if that's okay. I just want to finish my cigarette.
It's the god of cigarettes and youth. Ask him if he's got anything to spare. Don't let him go. This could be your witness. The balcony has a great view of the whole thing.
Effectivement. Pas timide, je peux avoir une cigarette.
Apologies, but this is my last one.
Une seconde bouffée, criminel.
The god himself has denied you absolution.
J'ai besoin d'absolution.
Absolution? I don't know that brand, but I'm pretty sure you can get Astras at the Frit.
Pouvez-vous me passer celle que vous fumez?
I'm not sure that's a good idea.
Allez quoi, lancez-la moi.
I'm not throwing anything.
There's no way you'd catch that cigarette anyway. Yes, really. Don't even try.
Vous avez raison,
You'll just embarrass yourself.
c'est visiblement une mauvaise idée, oubliez ce que j'ai dit.
As you wish.
En fait, la marche-chaussée a vraiment besoin de vous.
Is it really that important?
Demande-t-il en ajustant sa chemise.
Like a nervous cat, he keeps stealing looks at the neighboring windows.
All right, but make it quick. Once I finish this cigarette, I have to run.
Vous avez une très belle vue sur la cour arrière du Whirling, on dirait. Vous pouvez m'en dire plus sur la pendaison?
I'd even go so far as to say that the view is a little too good, my dear gendarme. Do you have an estimate of when the body will be taken away?
We will remove the body as soon as possible. Now tell us, where were you last Sunday?
Oh. You already asked me that, didn't you?
Je crois pas.
No, not you. Some more muscular type.
Oh.
And when did you speak to this more muscular gentleman?
Il prend des notes dans son petit calepin.
Last week? I don't know. Look.
Il observe à nouveau la cour, de vieilles chaises, de jardin et des plantes intérieures qui jonchent les lieux.
You didn't answer the question. What were you doing last Sunday?
I had a friend over.
Quel genre d'ami?
It was my Sunday friend.
A Sunday friend? How intriguing. Makes sense. Friends are nice on Sunday. You don't have to work. You can just spend time with pals, watching rugby and drinking beer.
Quel est le véritable nom de votre ami? Il avait quelque chose?
He doesn't reply, gesturing no with his cigarette. In the neighboring windows, you can see faint reflections of his silhouette, all from different angles. Someone hides behind a curtain. Those windows have eyes, and those eyes are watching, spying on you three.
Vous pouvez me dire votre nom?
My name? My name is Martin Martinez.
You're right.
Martin Martinez? Good local name. Let's go with that.
Bien, parlons plus tard.
No. We won't. Now, if you'll excuse me, I really need to get going.
Le convaincre de rester.
This isn't the place or time for questions. Who knows who might be watching from the distance, hidden behind the curtains?
Bon, écoutez, vous baissez la voix. Je veux juste que vous rentrez là. On peut se voir à nouveau dans un autre endroit.
For a moment, the man on the balcony seems almost vulnerable. Something moves in the depths of his feline eyes, compassion and a hint of understanding.
I am sorry, but I really don't have the information you're looking for.
Sa voix se fait suave et réfléchie. Puis le geste de poignet, il propulse le mégot de cigarette par-dessus la rambarde.
But, hold on, what's that? For a split second, his hand lingers, as though gesturing towards a stone placed right next to the front door. It's a sign.
Good luck with the investigation.
Ok. La roche qui est là.
He's gone.
Le lieutenant Rancho Calpin se trouve vers vous. On devrait se lancer à sa poursuite.
No point in running. Tenements like these often have multiple exits. If he doesn't want to talk to us, then he'll know how to hide himself.
Vous avez sans doute raison. Il n'avait sans doute rien d'important à nous
He
dire.
could be a witness. Him or his Sunday friend. Either way, we need to look into that muscular type who's asking about our case. He did leave us a sign. Did you see that? He wanted to draw our attention to that stone right over there.
Le lieutenant désigne de la tête un petit caillou au milieu de l'herbe détrempée.
If we find a way inside the building, we can ask around for his apartment.
Super, allons. Alors c'est parti.
A stone, like any other, lying in a whirl of sleet and mud. Maybe there's something under it. There's a key beneath it, rusty from the dirt.
This must be for the front door. Pity he doesn't have the apartment number on it. This building has many apartments and the man can be in any of them.
Comment allons-nous trouver le bon?
We'll just have to go in and see.
Ok. Demander aux gens son numéro d'appartement. Carnet de la tête pour eux. Ok, je veux juste être sûr avant d'aller faire ça. D'accord. Wow, c'est... Défendu, endurance. Ok, je comprends bien dans ce sens-là, ok. C'est de l'endurance. Fait qu'on va remonter notre endurance. Pas le choix. Et voilà, ok. Ah, on peut rentrer là, ok. Les effets d'expulsion et d'animaux de compagnie disparus sont pas gardés les uns au-dessus des autres. Cette boîte est remplie de produits de nettoyage, ça sent la lessive. Lunettes à verre rabattable. Plus un de logique, moins un d'autorité. Qu'est-ce qui a été changé? Rien, pour mon truc qu'il capotait. Un paquet encore de chaussures, des bottes, des baskets, des chaussures. Là, avant d'aller continuer par là, on sait qu'on a le temps à faire. Je vais retourner voir le corps. Oh yeah. Ça c'est un bonnet. C'est quand même très drôle. C'est juste une porte fermée, mais vous voulez contempler avec confiance. Les barils sont à moitié remplis d'eau de pluie. Ouais, je peux pas aller. Donc il n'y a rien d'autre ici à faire. Oh, ouais. Qu'est-ce que c'est que ça?
This is a wall on the side of an apartment building. You have no clue. It's just a wall. So many walls all over Martinez, weather-worn, cracked, their paint peeled.
Fait. Faut vraiment que je trouve le pawn shop. À l'intérieur, le corps d'une moto en réparation, il est utilisé pour faire désassembler. ILP là-haut, c'est elle qui a renversé la peinture. Le fantôme capsaï, bleu, color, bleu,
The streets will flow red once more, a great torrent rushing down Rue de Espérance. You wait and see.
La fille fixe le voilier accosté sur l'appontement.
The streets will not flow red with anything. Who are you?
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth, blood type, the last time I was tested for Hep C.
On veut juste connaître ton nom, jeune fille. Pas besoin d'être sur la défensive.
And here I was trying to be polite. Just can't win with you pigs.
Oh boy, malgré son insolence, elle pose son pinceau.
She's grown frustrated with her work and welcomes the opportunity to challenge authority in other ways.
Tu n'arrêtes pas de regarder sur le côté. Qu'est-ce que tu regardes?
The lieutenant furrows his brow at another one of your eccentricisms.
Okay.
Hatred, disgust. It's difficult to tell which of the two is more present in her girlish features. The woman on the boat does not notice her staring.
C'est une femme qui vit le bateau?
That is on her. Someone's got to keep an eye on her.
Qui est-ce?
Probably the Wild Pines rep. We should talk to her. She's a professional negotiator, though. I have the feeling she will be very cooperative while telling us nothing. You should take the lead. Ask her unexpected questions, you know? Do your thing. Don't be afraid to get a bit wacky. Throwing her off is our best bet.
Okay.
Good idea, piggies. Run along now. Fuck her shit up good. Impound that boat while you're at it. I'd like to watch her swim back to us on.
C'est quelque chose à propos de la récente pendaison?
I ain't no snitch, pigstein. Go forth and forage in someone else's shit. No shortage of squealers in these parts.
Actually, there is a shortage of people who talk to us in a normal, calm, informative manner.
We weren't put on this earth to make your life pleasant, fucko.
Ouch. Qu'est-ce que tu ramènes avec ce mur?
Can't you tell? I'm painting a beautiful mural, an aereo graffitio visible from low orbit. I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right words.
Elle examine le mur sur des mots passives. Donc tu sais pas quoi écrire.
Have you ever tried your hand at graffitio? When faced with a blank wall, most people write unimaginative stuff, like pigs go home and Mona was here. We rarely see pigs round here, though. Just union cats. And my name's not Mona, so...
She wants it to be something true and total.
Pourquoi elle est aussi déterminée à détériorer ces meubles?
This place is severely lacking in havoc. Not even the occasional trash can fire to break up the tedium. I thought I'd mix it up, you know, summon the forces of crime and social chaos with a wall-sized invitation.
J'ai une petite idée à ce sujet, ça t'intéresse?
Yeah?
J'adore de la rue. Passe ton chemin et occupe-toi de tes réunions.
Thanks. I'm sure the inspiration will come to me now that I have an official RCM stamp of approval.
You've lessened her desire to deface the building.
On se reparle plus tard, Cindy.
Watch your back, Ungulate. You've got eyes.
Ok. Oh. Oh. Et où le pied de biche? Manteau de marin bleu. C'est ça. La coque de son avait vibré comme si elle venait d'être peinte. Le seul problème qu'on a, c'est que on en a beaucoup trop de magnésium péché dans un embarrage réservé aux résidents de la rue Saint-Glenn. 33A. Votre chambre de warning n'est pas beaucoup plus grande que sur le lit. Non, les petites madames. Le payage est plus que tout ce que vous pouvez gagner au cours de votre vie. Des ombres sur l'eau, des plantes d'herbe sur la surface que vous.
A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf is tied around her throat.
Okay.
Good afternoon, officers. I'm Joyce.
Elle vous tend la main en guise de salutation.
Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM.
Elle se rapproche de vous et tend la main par-dessus la rambarde. Qu'est-ce qui nous a trahis?
Nothing, honestly. I've said it to every drunk in town, and you're the first one who's responded.
What is implied here? That you're a drunk?
MCR, c'est quoi? Je suis un peu embrumé en ce moment.
I meant you, the Revachol Citizens Militia, the police.
Joyce L, qu'est-ce que signifie L?
Beaton, my maiden name.
Sa main osseuse pendouille de la marouche de son imperméable trop grande pour elle. Je suis pas un police. Je suis pas une brune, je suis une police.
Of course you're not. It was only a joke.
Ne pas lui serrer la main.
I'm glad to see you here.
La femme et le lieutenant échangent un bref poignet de main.
She is unfazed by your rudeness, probably chalking it up to local custom.
I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will. Glad.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode.
C'est drôle.
Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
How interesting.
Elle se tourne vers vous.
I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group.
It's hard to get a read on her precise disposition, but she appears helpful.
Vous avez l'air riche, pour avoir un peu d'argent.
Is what you want to say, but it isn't that easy, is it?
Non, pourquoi pas?
Look at that lady. Take a gander. Squint your eyes, bub.
Quel beau tissu.
Why, yes. Tucked away under that sturdy green raincoat, almost rustic in its simplicity, a silk shirt and matching scarf around her gentle throat. While dull orange pearls hang from her earlobes, red from the cold. Her light green eyes scan you, full of knowledge and worry. Wealth and all its possibilities. Now look at you, you misery-clad simian, barely able to tie your own laces. Your armpits are lakes. A scythe of booze precedes you. Your hair sticks to your forehead, and your underwear feels uncomfortable. You're poor, poor as balls. You can't ask this person for money. You're too...
Ça trop. Ah, je peux pas. Et je suis un putain de travailleur, il n'y a pas de honte à avoir à secouer cette censure pour lui tirer un peu d'argent. Honte? J'ai pas honte! Quelle est donc cette sensation? Je n'ai jamais ressenti auparavant. Qu'est-ce que vous en dites, guys? Qu'est-ce que ça vous tente de faire comme réponse? Et pourtant, je devrais avoir honte. Ne serait-ce que pour y avoir pensé. C'est une femme et je suis un homme. Oui, je devrais gagner ma propre croûte depuis le temps. Qu'est-ce que vous en pensez? N'hésitez pas dans le chat. N'hésitez pas. Moi, je vais avec ça, sinon. Choix difficile. N'est-ce pas? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ou 6. C'est votre décision, les amis. Censure all the way, hein? Maman, comment vas-tu? Go avec la censure, parfait.
You think your little communism protects you from this feeling? No. The more demeaning it is to grovel at her feet.
Pleine forme bank for cash. On peut bien l'essayer.
Oh God, the lieutenant is here too. Do not dishonor the force.
As I was saying, if there's any way I may be of assistance, please don't hesitate to ask.
Come on!
I am sorry. It just doesn't come out of your mouth. What does is...
Excuse me? I didn't hear you. Did you say money?
Non, j'ai pas dit ça.
Of course.
Ah, non. C'est triste. Parlez-moi de Wild Pines. Que faites-vous chez eux?
What we do. I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking.
Alors, que fait le groupe?
The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping side of things. And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration, offshore platforms.
Combien d'argent possède Wild Pines?
I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year, the company booked more than 20 billion real in revenue.
A billion?
C'est quoi exactement un milliard? C'est tout ce que je crois. Des chiffres comme ça ne veulent rien dire pour moi. Je dois bien moins d'argent que ça. Ouais. C'est quoi exactement un milliard?
It's a number, officer. A big one.
Et il contient quoi?
It's made of 1,000 millions. A million is made of 1,000 thousands.
Des chiffres comme ça ne veulent rien dire pour moi.
Yes, past a certain point, numbers begin to seem imaginary. But they are quite real for the 72,000 employees who depend on Wild Pines for their paychecks. A conglomerate the size of Wild Pines is like a shark. If it stops moving and growing, it will die. Then what becomes of those 72,000 families? It is a tremendous responsibility.
D'où sortent tous ces milliards de Wild Pines?
They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran and Insulindian Isolas 250 years ago, when pine ships explored the South Seminese and charted Lomantang on behalf of the suzerain. Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taken everything from its employees to build it.
Ok. Quelle intention de faire un système aussi énorme avec un endroit comme celui-ci? Regardez autour de vous.
You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo?
Ok. 8% de tout le fret dans le monde? C'est en effet une sacrée entreprise. Vous ne le faites pas vous-même, le transport. Ce sont les travailleurs qui le font. L'entreprise n'est rien sans eux.
We built this district. All the best parts of it. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, with its bastions. The plazas Meteor and Mosaic. Even some of the old street lamps have been put back thanks to the investments from the WP.
Le monde du doigt à la digue qui s'adresse derrière vous.
Before Martinez was swallowed by the industrial harbour, even before it was part of Revachol, long before Terminal B was erected here, the Pines built it as a resort for its Revacholian employees. A company getaway, for a weekend or a summer holiday. Then came the revolution. But that's another matter. I'm here to make sure the Pines can fulfill their responsibilities to the place they built.
With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone.
Ok. Je peux le réessayer.
Voila, you're doing it.
Yay!
Really put your back into it. Yell it from the top of your lungs.
Je peux avoir un peu d'argent, madame? Argent!
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. The wind is a bit strong. Could you repeat that?
J'ai besoin d'argent!
How much money?
10 000 réals! 1 milliard de réals!
Excuse me, sir. I don't have a billion real.
De quoi? Je pensais que vous aviez 20 milliards ou quelque chose comme ça.
That was the annual revenue of the entire Wild Pines group, not my personal fortune. Try again, dear. A little lower this time.
Ouais, vraiment. C'était bien placé ça, Sam. Ok. J'ai besoin de 130 réals.
That's a good sum. Not too small. Not fantastically large. Like a billion.
Tellement d'améliorations imperméables sur un sac en plastique transparent à fermeture éclair.
She removes a few notes and hands them to you. The paper is cold and oily to the touch.
Sérieux?
Whoa, whoa. Did you see how easy that was? Ask her for more. Toot toot. Train to Moneytown.
Je peux en avoir un peu plus?
This may seem like odd behavior for a police officer, ma'am, but it's a perfectly common side effect of his
Il vous fixe sur les yeux.
unusual medical episode.
It's all right, Lieutenant. I really did bring as little cash with me as possible to avoid attention. So here you are. The last bit of filthy lucre I can share. So, I hope I didn't just bribe you, officer. It may not be technically illegal under the Emergency Act, but still.
C'est vrai, vous m'avez corrompu. Je suis votre petit péon. Non. Je suis un policier honorable, l'un des derniers hommes droits de Revachol. Je suis toujours en train de cogiter sur ce concept d'argent. Vous n'avez fait que m'aider dans mes réflexions.
You're right, ma'am, that donations are permitted under the Emergency Act, unseemly as it may be, as long as they are properly lodged at the precinct.
Which he most certainly will do. Now, how else can I help the RCM today, besides supplementing its salaries?
Vous avez l'air intelligente et j'ai besoin qu'on me donne les dernières infos sur cette réalité dans laquelle nous évoluons.
This reality?
C'est drôle ça. Elle a juste sa capuche près de sa nuque. J'ai tellement picolé que j'ai... Non, pas le temps d'expliquer. Donnez-moi les dernières infos. En fait, ce n'est pas le bon moment pour... Non.
No, but please. A little context. We're not in such a hurry.
J'ai tellement picolé que j'ai littéralement tout oublié.
What?
Elle fait un mouvement brusque et en renverse presque son thé. Un événement supranaturel a eu lieu. Montrez votre tête du doigt. Dans ma tête, avec de l'alcool. J'ai pris une queue de 3 jours. Dans 35, ouais. C'est malade. J'ai pris une queue de 3 jours et j'ai besoin de vous expliquer, que vous m'expliquiez le monde.
Such an acute encephalopathy. Just doesn't seem possible. Surely you're joking.
Don't be phased, madame. He functions perfectly well. He only needs a lowdown on all of reality.
We may be here a while then. Ask away, officer. I'll help however I can.
Oh, théorie avancée, c'est fait. Nice. Faut que j'aille revoir le 12. Ok. Joyce est riche, il veut bien répondre à vos questions. Riche. Le rapport. À date, 2 fois. 2 fois. Une fois par une porte. Tu sais, quand tu veux essayer quelque chose, ben, c'est ce que ça donne. Dans les streams, c'est fini de même. Bang dans la porte. Il me restait un de vie. Ça, c'est fini là. Puis la dernière fois, c'est tantôt. On a réussi un truc à 17% de sacrer une volée à un dude beaucoup trop baraqué. Puis quand on est arrivé pour continuer le combo, ben, il a intercepté notre bras puis il nous a tués encore. La question quand est très très vaste.
Alright, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
Peut-être que... Je vais juste... Je vais juste en mettre un peu plus que... Si je peux répondre à ta question, ça va me faire un grand plaisir, mais quand... boy... En essayant d'aller voir la fille des dés, que je me suis fait assommer avec la porte. J'ai voulu péter sa porte, puis ça m'a tué. C'est quoi passer quelque chose qui me tient à cœur?
6 kilometers southwest, in the Valley of Dogs, Junior Officer Chad Tilbrook takes aim at a rabid black dog licking its wounds in the grass.
On a réussi!
To his left, his partner, Emil Mullins, whispers, "You heard what happened to Tequila Sunset in Martinez?"
Good. Désolé.
Yes, he lost his mind, Tilbrook answers, fingers on the trigger. Don't worry, Emil. He pulls it out slowly. Slowly now. He'll find it again. We always do.
Que suis-je?
You? You're an officer of the RCM.
C'est énergiquement. Cette abréviation, que signifie-t-elle?
It stands for Revachol Citizens Militia.
Bien, la milice de citoyenne de Revachol, c'est quoi?
Nothing more nor less than the de facto law enforcement body of post-revolutionary Revachol, Detective.
Yes, we are the Revachol Citizens Militia.
Vous avez dit de facto?
Yes, that means not de jure. The RCM acts in what is poetically called the twilight of international law, both at the behest of the coalition government and to its chagrin.
Que voulez-vous dire?
The RCM's responsibilities are defined by the Emergency, Wayfarer and Aliments Acts, 3 pieces of legislation keeping the city in a, let's be honest, laissez-faire stasis to the benefit of foreign capital.
All 3 are good to know when we are out policing.
Ok, donc pour faire simple, je suis un laquais des capitaux. Donc pour faire simple, je suis un esclave aux mains d'intérêts étrangers. Donc pour faire simple, je fais partie des gentils. Ou donc pour faire simple, je vais esquiver ce sujet. Non, pas ça. Guys, c'est à vous de choisir 1, 2 ou 3. Je fais partie des gentils. Je suis un esclave aux mains des étrangers ou un laquais des capitaux. À vous de choisir. Écrivez-le dans le chat ce que ça vous tente qu'on réponde. Let's go, guys. Ok. Parfait. Quelqu'un d'autre? Non. On y va!
There's nothing basic about your role, Detective. It's true that the RCM keeps everything the way our seemingly permanent provisional rulers like it.
Elle se penche vers l'avant.
Yet, on the other hand, I know these people. I deal with them daily. Let me tell you, dear, they are not fans of you.
Pourquoi?
The post-revolutionary decade was a disaster for the coalition government. Revachol in the 20s was hell, especially on the west side of the river. Gang warfare, a botched privatization scheme, a nuclear pile meltdown.
Okay, alright.
They called it the International Zone because no nation wanted to claim responsibility. The RCM restored peace where the coalition failed. A true blue citizens' initiative. They will never forgive you.
That's somewhat of an exaggeration. In reality, ours is a mutually beneficial arrangement. Revacholians get to keep the peace in Revachol, and the coalition doesn't have to worry about it. Anyway, sorry to intrude. Please continue.
Yes, Lieutenant. Permit me to conclude with this. Who you are, to me, is the police. The only legitimate law enforcement authority in Revachol.
Merci, madame.
And if those authorities drink so hard they need help recalling the basic terms of reality, well, I'm here to help.
Impossible.
A strange coldness comes over you as you look at the world. The waves sway the sloop slowly. That's all.
C'est quoi ça, écarter les mains?
A bird? A sphenicid? A flightless bird of the polar regions?
Je suis vraiment si bizarre que ça.
Of course you're not, my dear. I'm just terrible at guessing games.
Je veux dire, quel est cet endroit ici?
Ah! This is the pier of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A, where the tenants have been kind enough to rent me a slot. Or two.
Regarde autour d'elle. Qu'y a-t-il au 33A, rue de Saint-Ghislain?
A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see. And new buildings, bâtiments. After les bâtiments nouveaux. But 33A and 33B are not nouveaux. They're old.
Regarde la façade décrépite.
This one used to be 8 to 10 stories tall.
Oh.
A real high-rise by the standards of the last century. Built to mirror the skyscrapers across the bay in the Delta. That was before the war, of course.
Qui vivait dedans?
Mostly the urban middle class, I believe. This was once primo real estate, before the cannons lopped 4 or 5 stories off.
Splat, splat.
Depuis le balcon de l'abri, Cindy la cabocharde regarde Joyce de travers, son pinceau rouge à hauteur de gorge.
Wonderful.
Qu'est-ce que c'est, pointer le doigt vers Cindy la cabocharde?
The girl in the old lady rags.
Oui.
Looks like a sullen and rebellious member of a teen infraculture.
Infraculture?
Yes. You and I belong to the supraculture. We're common, the herd. The music on the radio, the food in the chain restaurant, those are all too popular for the girl in the old lady rags. She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid. There is no refuge from the supraculture.
Ok, je comprends tout ça, ça complique les choses.
I can't. That's how simple it is. One may dye their hair green and wear their grandma's coat, all they want. Capital has the ability to subsume all critiques into itself. Even those who would critique capital end up reinforcing it instead. All right. What next?
Ok, next. On n'a pas besoin de descendre plus bas. Quoi la MCR déjà? Non. C'est quoi cette encéphalopathie aiguë dont vous parlez?
It's a neurological disorder caused by a lack of vitamin B in the brain. Symptoms include a retrograde amnesia. It's quite serious. You should get yourself checked out.
She conveys it in short, cold bursts, trying not to invest too deeply in the condition of this doomed detective.
Quelles sont les causes de l'encéphalopathie?
Well, it's either bariatric surgery or long-term alcohol use.
Bon alors, ça j'ai pas c'est la boisson sans aucun doute.
She nods slowly. What this boils down to is, this reality thing is stupid. Blow this joint, grab a bottle, and drain that shit right down your throat.
L'électrochimie est partie là.
Yes, and perform autoerotic asphyxiation on yourself with your funny necktie, out in the open somewhere.
Asphyxie érotique. N'est-ce pas?
Wait. This reality thing is the only game in town. It's probably in your interest not to blow it.
N'est-ce pas? Je dois aller faire la fête tout de suite. Oui, c'est ça. Non.
She stares at you, head tilted to the side, with a slightly concerned look on her face.
Dans quel temps vivons-nous?
These are unimportant times, Detective.
Elle pose un doigt sur ses lèvres puis vous
You
désigne.
and I were born after the dust had settled. 1,000th of a second too late.
Too late for what? Trop tard pourquoi?
For the big time.
Jésus s'illumine, ses dents se dévoilent brièvement.
The smile of a predator. No doubt what she's got in mind.
J'avais un instinct de prédatrice.
All men are predators, dear. Nothing much to be done about that. It's all a matter of where you get to file your teeth.
C'est quoi le grand moment?
The revolution.
Ah, et quelle est donc cette révolution dont je n'arrête pas d'entendre parler?
It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next, who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle.
Qui a reçu une balle dans la crâne?
Those would be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution. But the communists, they all got shot in the head.
Okay.
She's not gloating. It's a relieved celebration.
Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them well. So well, one forgets they even existed.
Est-ce que les communistes et les anarchistes ont riposté?
Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people.
Quel bazar!
Yeah, it was a kerfuffle, all right.
C'est pas ça pour du bazar, c'était du bazar.
Yes, the Insulindian deluge, they call it.
Y a-t-il eu d'autres personnes dans le camp adverse qui ont été exécutées d'une balle en pleine tête?
Oh, lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse, or drowned. Accounts differ. It was unceremonious. Just as well, he wasn't actually the king. Just the king's nephew.
Okay.
The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad.
Ok. Je m'en bats les steaks des rois. Dites-moi encore une chose.
About head shooting,
Finalement, qui a obtenu les droits miniers?
the liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything.
Ok, par les libéraux, vous voulez dire...
Liberals are usually middle-class people, Detective. Or the remaining gentry. The beneficiaries of the pre-revolutionary arrangement. Some were rich enough to stay with the constitution, with monarchy. Big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the ultras, or ultra-liberals. They fared well.
Comment les libéraux ont-ils remporté la victoire?
They didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones standing when the war ended. Everyone else got shot in the head, remember?
Si tout le monde a été exécuté, à qui les souverains ont-ils pu se rendre?
To foreign intervention. The coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights.
Wow, minute. Papillon. Vous venez de dire que les libéraux avaient déjà tout pris.
The liberals took everything that wasn't nailed to the ground. The coalition took the ground. The ocean, the laws, and the people.
Ok, c'est quoi la coalition?
The coalition of nations. Grad, Mesk, Vesper, Messina, Oranje, and Sur-la-Clay, the armed center of the world. They landed here and ended the revolution. It was the moralist thing to do.
There is bitterness in her voice, tempered with understanding. She is critical, but ultimately understands the cause.
Moraliste.
The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in mineral rights and not shooting people in the head. At least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are the long-standing provisional rulers of Revachol now.
The rulers of Revachol.
Sorry.
And also the world. These guys are strong.
This is their zone of control. They embolden the RCM with crumbs of the same law they took. Technically speaking, you are a moralist.
Papa, c'est pas être un moraliste, madame.
Of course. Not easy to be moderate about head shooting in your line of work.
Quand s'est produit tout ce bazar?
The turn of the century revolution? Don't answer it. The revolution began in 02 on the Isla of Grad, though by the end nearly the whole world had gotten involved.
Qui a commencé la révolution?
It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zarat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. Then Mazov came along and overthrew the government.
Quels étaient les symptômes de Zarat?
It made people overthrow their governments.
Wow, vraiment?
Of course not. It was a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual causes of the revolution were material. The pandemic only provided the spark.
Jusqu'où la pandémie s'est-elle étendue?
From Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Mazov's government was overthrown in 08, and the coalition crushed the Revachol commune 2 years later. It was the end.
Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé ensuite?
Why? You and I, officer. Our lives in the zone of control.
Something tells you her life and yours are not that similar. Maybe it's because she has a boat and you have that necktie? A pair of pants?
Nos vies sont complètement différentes.
No doubt. But we share the same time and position on the planet's crust. That counts for more than you think.
Vous pouvez me parler de la zone de contrôle? Qu'est-ce que c'est exactement?
A city-state divided into free market zones under the everlasting interregnum of the Coalition of Nations. And you, of course, the citizens' militia.
The clatter of typewriter keys fills the main hall of the reappropriated silk mill. Precinct 41. Chad Tilbrook presses enter. Outside, Officer Elfboy Williams slams the door of an armored motor carriage.
The zone of control is the third incarnation of Revachol, after the failure of the suzerain and the commune.
Qu'est-ce que c'est l'arrivée du reste du monde?
Modernity. They developed the marvels of the inter-eastlery communication. Telematic milieus, radiation, coloured plastics. Meanwhile, in Revachol West, the aftermath continues for the 5th decade.
La situation est comme ça depuis combien de temps exactement?
43 years.
Hey.
Hard to fathom, I know.
Et qu'est-ce qu'on fait depuis tout ce temps?
The 20s saw a decade of urban war, west of the river levelled, offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an improvement on what came before. 08 to 19 was simply hell.
Et après ça?
The 30s? Things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven, with the international community's blessing. For the first time in a long time, it seemed like things were going somewhere.
Et c'était le cas?
No. It was a market mirage fueled by cocaine and quantitative easing. The 40s dispelled it like a cold splash, an Isla-wide hangover, you might say. And here we are.
Elle fait une petite révérence.
Welcome to reality,
oh,
baby.
Nice.
From the looks of it, the 50s haven't been much better for the zone of control. You can see it in her eyes. Days slipping away.
N'avait pas l'air spécialement emballé.
I've no right to be dissatisfied. This shirt is Barbara Muscova, this raincoat is impervious to rain and is guaranteed for 100 years. My daughters will wear it. No, it's just...
Regarde l'étourdi, la peinture qui se détache de la pierre.
We could have had so much more. Every one of us. If only we played it right.
Qu'auriez-vous fait différemment?
Good question. What would you have done differently?
No, her first.
Oh mon Dieu. J'aurais cherché une solution médicale, on dirait que cette Sarah a rendu les gens fous. Je vous ai posé la question le premier. Qui êtes-vous dans tout ça? J'aurais tué bien plus de personnes, 400 millions si ça avait été nécessaire. J'aurais fait main basse sur les droits miniers. Je ne sais pas ce que j'aurais choisi de faire différemment.
And I asked you, past-less detective of the Citizens Militia, what insight has acute encephalopathy given to you?
Here's some wisdom, lady. Say the death thing. Cold runs down your spine as you say the words, like a small electric charge that seeks grounding.
400 millions, ça avait été nécessaire.
I see. A tenth of humanity. The key of history is in the lock. Keep turning at any cost.
À tout prix, jusqu'à ce que l'humanité soit libre, que l'âge du grand capital soit révolu. Jusqu'à ce que l'on mette fin à cette folie de rechercher le règne, un suzerain pour toujours. Jusqu'à ce que chaque billet de recherche soit à moi. Jusqu'à ce que la classe moyenne des aristocrates et des travailleurs disperse et que l'âge des hommes touche à sa fin.
The wind stops, and for a moment, there's silence. The cold dissipates into a parietal lobe, like a dissolved bullet. All is quiet on the Martinez Inlet.
The age of man is over.
Over? That's entropilism, the very height of late modernity. Evacuate this world. You may prove a truly modern man yet.
Opinions expressed here do not reflect the official position of the RCM.
And what is your official position, Lieutenant?
My position, ma'am? My parents got ripped to shreds in the revolution. I would have gone the same way. I was saved by being 2 years old. That's my position. The abattoir.
Understandable.
They
They are what they are. Who knows? An afterbloom may yet come.
C'est sûr, c'est parti, là, il est amené, good. Là, on va pouvoir améliorer quelque chose d'autre.
Anyway, enough sentimentality. Is there anything else you want to know?
Je veux savoir ce que vous êtes.
She won't maneuver her way out of this one.
Qu'êtes-vous?
I am the vilest of the vile. A traitor. A devourer of nations and infants. I am an ultra.
It's sharp.
Attendez. Dios mio! Une libérale! Oh, je suis du genre libéral moi aussi, je comprends pas.
Yes. I am the nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. I pushed the king under a shit wagon and betrayed the revolution. My kind surrendered the nation to financial colonists. Perhaps you thought we'd gone extinct. After all, no sane person identifies as an ultra anymore. Not in broad daylight. Tell me, now that I've uncoiled myself, are you repulsed?
In her green eyes, you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride.
Hey Akira Fun, merci pour ton raid, bienvenue tout le monde avec ces 10 spectateurs. Comment a été ta fin de stream finalement mon cher? As-tu réussi à battre les deux les deux ennemis, les deux boss que t'étais dessus quand je suis venu te voir? Est-ce que je me rappelle bien? Tu as dit que tu ne finirais pas ton stream avant de les avoir battus, n'est-ce pas? Bienvenue tout le monde, mon nom est Rekels et j'espère que vous allez bien. Donc on fait un peu de tout sur la chaîne, on joue à des jeux d'horreur, des jeux d'aventure comme ce soir, Disco Elysium. Et puis, on fait un peu d'Elden Ring aussi de notre côté. Alors Akira, comment s'est terminé ton stream? Raconte-moi ça. Oh, tu dois te réveiller dans 2 heures, je te retirerai pas alors. Bisous à toi, un gros merci encore. 5 heures sur le boss, ouais, c'est le même boss que je suis pensé de voir tantôt. Oh my god, est-ce que tu l'as eu? Est-ce que tu l'as eu? Est-ce que tu as réussi à venir à bout? Oui, good job, jeudis. C'est ça l'important. Bravo Akira. Ah, encore une fois, bienvenue à tout le monde. J'espère que vous allez bien. Donc on est sur un jeu de détective. Merci à toi. À bientôt effectivement. On est sur un jeu de détective RPG. Donc beaucoup de dialogues. On est en train de questionner sur la réalité du monde et tout ça. Donc c'est assez spécial, notre personnage a des blancs de mémoire. Donc il ne se rappelle plus de grand chose, il était ivre et quand il s'est réveillé, aucune mémoire de ce qui se passait. Donc on enquête sur un meurtre, un vendu. On essaie de savoir qu'est-ce qui se passe à ce niveau-là.
Forgive her, but only because you like pearlescent teeth and those light green eyes.
Malheureusement, le jeu n'est qu'en anglais pour le voice-over, mais il est en français sur le texte. Donc c'est un bien pour un mal, malheureusement. Donc vous êtes un monde. Est-ce qu'on la pardonne? Je vous pardonne, mais seulement parce que vous êtes charmante, ou je m'en fiche. Est-ce qu'on pardonne qu'elle est une ultra? Est-ce qu'on lui pardonne? Ah ouais.
A devil, who being of great charm and guile, sneaketh into the homes of the godly.
J'ai aucune idée de ce qu'elle a dit. Whoops.
Beneath her waterproof raincoat and silk shirt is a body imbibed in numb 12 perfume. You are suddenly and intimately aware of it.
Vile demoni.
I hope we are able to continue as friends despite my scaly bulk and the treacheries committed by my people against the suzerain and the commune. When the dust settled, the liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future. This was all our last generation managed.
Vous auriez personnellement fait les choses autrement?
With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinez a monument to the efficacy of its artillery.
Okay.
While a gentle wind sweeps the streets in the rebuilt east, light drizzle washing it clean, lights go up and motor carriages circulate the tracks.
I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the coalition. Not here in Martinez, and not in the Stella Maris or Delta Beachheads either. If not for my own sake, then for my daughters. We had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isola down rather than let them have it.
Dark orange flames reflect in her green eyes.
Il y a une grosse
An
production.
oil fire on the ocean.
Vous êtes une femme intelligente.
Perhaps. My intellectual vanity will be my undoing.
Ok, vous avez des filles?
Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother and a wife.
Je pense qu'on a
Now,
assez
shall we
tiré...
return to reality?
Ouais, je pense qu'on a assez tiré d'informations, là. C'est tout pour le moment.
Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else?
Que pouvez-vous me dire sur cette grève?
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets.
Ok, jusqu'aux secrets commerciaux, mais sans les inclure. Bon. Une seconde. Et si je veux en savoir plus sur les secrets commerciaux?
First, you'd have to repeal the Emergencies Act of Trade and Aliments that gives me the right to silence. It's quite the octopus.
Bien, je vais la
Good
massacrer.
luck is only kept in place by the vested interests of half the civilized world, including your own.
What the ma'am means is that the Emergencies Act and the RCM both get their authority from the coalition government.
But I am derailing us. You wanted to know about the strike.
Quel est votre rôle dans tout ça?
I believe the official title is Senior Labour Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching
Non,
took
ça va
place.
pas bien.
Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter-20 racist behemoth blocking the gates.
Ok, fait que pour qu'elle rentre, il faut réussir à peser le bouton à côté du colosse de tantôt. Vous voulez parler de Jean-Luc, mon mentor racial, c'est un grand professeur, un homme de vertu.
Oh, so you've met him. Has he beguiled you with his inane theories?
Ah oui.
My colleague has his peculiarities. Let's not go into this particular one just yet.
Of course. To each their own.
Comment ça passait les discussions avant le lynchage?
Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
But the strike began in December.
Oh boy. Ça fait longtemps.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations.
Okay.
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike.
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive.
Les houfions à la porte, c'est vous qui les avez envoyés?
The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock, come to plead for work where the union refuses to? If they were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you. Not right now, at least.
Parlez-moi du chef du syndicat, Monsieur Clare.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of the workers first.
Ah ouais, vraiment?
Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood.
Il est super que ça.
He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar.
Attendez, il y en a 2 comme lui?
Yes. Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues.
Okay, qu'en est-il du syndicat lui-même, en dehors des frères Claire?
The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that. Organised labour at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say?
Elysium, cherchons la bonne expression.
A mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, I suspect we'll be forced to cooperate with them.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his brother. And your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is...
Une sangsue géante qui suce la vie de Rivachol.
Indeed. And a hungry one. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what
corps.
amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. However much you feed the leech always hungers.
Quelles sont leurs revendications?
There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. What did they say again? Oh yes. Every worker, a member of the board.
You're right. On dirait qu'ils ne savent pas comment mener à bien leur affaire. Oubliez ça, non. Une politique communiste super agressive.
In its defense, another said, demand democracy. Pretty tame stuff compared to every worker, a member of the board.
Qu'est-ce que ça veut dire, en fait?
It's quite simple, you see. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision, about what? About anything, really, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinez terminal.
Okay.
Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group.
J'avoue que je dois admettre que c'est assez marrant.
They're having a blast. But how can they afford it? After 4 months, my assumption was they would prefer a more practical solution.
Qu'allez-vous faire?
I'm not sure. Naturally, I assumed that was just their opening position, a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags. A disastrous situation if there ever was one.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
I first heard it from the bowyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was Call me Manana.
Son nom, c'est Call Me Manana.
This checks out.
Ok. Il est arrivé quoi à ce gros mot?
Mr. Clare told him to... How did he put it?
Il s'arrête pour se ressaisir.
Fuck off, midget. Beaumont is short of stature, you see.
Nah, cool.
Yes. Extremely. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the Union.
Sounds like usual aggressive posturing.
Encore une chose, vous avez dit quelque chose s'était passé lors des élections.
I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the Union. She disappeared.
Oh no.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore, or coming to work. Ever. End of story.
Comme c'est bizarre.
Downright haunting, if you ask me. The Wild Pines suspected foul play, but what could they do? It was a union matter. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
Thank you for your concern. We'll be just fine.
Je sais toujours ce que j'ai besoin. Changeons de sujet.
Of course. How else can I help?
Ok, lynchage.
Quite a few things, I'm afraid.
C'était pendant un moment, elle contemple quelque
The
chose.
information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Votre nom. On l'a pas. On n'a pas ça, guys.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi from Precinct 57. And this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice.
How curious. Why is that, Detective?
Awkwardness washes over the conversation. The woman doesn't like this turn of events.
Vous vous souvenez quand je vous ai dit que je ne pouvais littéralement pas me souvenir des faits les plus basiques de la réalité?
How can I forget?
Elle se penche la tête de côté. L'un des effets est de me souvenir où se trouve mon insigne. Un autre est de me souvenir, comment dire, de mon nom.
I was hoping your condition was rhetorical, Detective. A questioning technique.
J'aurais bien voulu.
I have sympathy for your highly unusual condition, sir, and I believe you. But as it stands, I cannot share any confidential information until I've seen both your badges.
Okay.
I understand the dictates of protocol, ma'am, but is there no way around it?
I'm afraid not, Lieutenant. These are my employer's orders.
Hang on. She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement.
Comment suis-je m'en sortir par la négociation?
She's a negotiator. Just float a favor at her. Insinuate.
Il doit bien exister un autre moyen pour vous prouver que je suis policier.
I will be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. They're going to want to see something very tangible.
You're in, but expect her to drive a hard bargain.
Ok, genre quoi?
Reports from inside Terminal B suggest it's a hub for the local drug trade. This is an open secret in Martinez. The Union controls the terminal, so it goes to reason.
They're profiting from this trade.
The company has tried looking into this matter before, to no avail. Perhaps someone with your authority and resources might turn over the right stones.
Okay.
Or you can recover your badge, though if I may be blunt with you, it sounds like that may be a lost cause.
Detective, a word in private before we continue.
Excusez-nous pour un instant, madame.
Wow, you work hard.
Ah bon?
Oh, yes. You hustle. You're a provider. It's tough out there, but you keep it real and provide.
Pourquoi, ouais, c'est quoi ces efforts que je fournis au juste? Pourquoi?
Oh, yeah. Like a horse. A workhorse. For hard work.
C'est quoi les efforts que je
Look
fournis au
at
juste?
yourself. You're a human pedometer. You must have walked 200,000 steps down cracked asphalt, mosaic, sand, and linoleum. That is the sign of a hustler who never gives up. The world is harsh and people are evil. You didn't make it that way, and you won't let it break you. You ride.
Ouais, la vie et la mort.
That's just what it's like. Life and death. But you got gills on your side, baby. got those black papers with the faces of the innocents on them. You bring in the Franco Negros and the Solas. It ain't easy, but you do it. Day in and day out. You didn't make the rules, but you won't lose. You're a cop, and a sprinter, and a money printer.
C'est vrai que j'ai accepté le pognon que Joyce m'a entendu.
Oh yeah, you took that bribe hard. You're a killer.
Quelque part, Manière m'a aussi lâché cette thune.
You didn't log that in as a donation either. You don't log any of that shit in. You're a straight rider.
Je palpe un peu, c'est vrai.
Sure, sure. And has it been easy? Is life easy? Have you not gone into cardiac arrest? Are you not about to have an anxiety attack or shoot yourself in the mouth? But you still hustle 24/7, ride or die. Now, are you rich?
Ouais, carrément.
Get out of here. You're a pauper. You work harder than anyone. Almost rode yourself to the grave, and you're still practically a hobo.
C'est à cause
Why
du
is
garde.
that?
Il me prend pour une vache à lait.
The Gart man has set himself up one of those self-replicating money structures. You should learn from it. Don't play the victim. Think hustler. Think with your head.
Les dés sont pipés.
Boo-hoo. The system is broken. The establishment is keeping me down. That's not the fuck yeah attitude you're used to. What is this? Why are you so poor?
Mais non, je comprends pas pourquoi je suis si pauvre.
Because of the taxes. G-Man's got his jam-covered sticky fingers in your pocket, stealing from you every time you buy, sell, walk, talk, fart, so much as sneeze.
Regardez vrai, quand j'éternue.
Every time you wipe your ass, they got their direct and their indirect modes of taxation. Sales tax, excise duty, extraction tax, alimony, one tax that doesn't even have a name. Plus there's the stuff people in other countries pay for. That makes them ask for more money from you. Here, total tax duties add up to 98% of all your money.
Ouch. Pas moyen, je suis désormais pas dans la mentalité du libre marché.
Here you go, hustler. Fight the righteous fight. Free the people. Keep it real. Keep it street. Keep foaming at the mouth furiously on the tax issue. Advanced race theory.
Okay.
Everything is calm in the eye of the race storm. Your mind is lucid and bright. The mind-bending phylogenetics appear more distant and, to be fair, a little ridiculous. The great race mystery has cleared up. All that's left to do is verbalize your thoughts. Go and talk to Measurehead about your newly found insights.
Rhétorique, l'essai d'apprentissage passe à 5, plus 1 conceptualisation, le mystère est principalement esthétique. Et l'autre, on est à 96, on lâche pas, guys, on va y arriver.
Hey.
Ah, la rhétorique qui me parle. Qui ça, moi?
Yes, you. Word on the street is you're ready to start building communism again.
Non, laisse béton, c'est non.
Tremble. The time is now. Ta'ola.
L'heure de quoi?
Time for the show. For Ta'ola. The hallowed time of fear and disintegration. A countdown has begun. All will collapse on itself. The world will disappear into a single grain of blackness. All sound will be muted. All life will scream.
Tahoka, Kisako?
Ulogu Theodos. Xino Zausin. Ipoli Osivien. Echondes Fronisin.
On est en train de faire un rituel satanique. La grosse fin des temps agonique que j'annonce à corps et à cri.
Yes, you spoke the words of the palindropos.
Ils ont tous besoin de leur pilule dans ce jeu-là, c'est pas ici.
People, even words will tumble. all will lose its meaning in the coming years. That is why you marked yourself.
Ils ont tout besoin. Je crois que la fin des temps est proche, c'est vrai.
The face of the woman fractures. There will be herd killing. We all become vapor.
Oh my god. Ok, fait qu'on a deux autres trucs. Erreur 303. Deux autres trucs. Mode de taxation indirect. Le flic de... Oh, le flic de l'apocalypse, malade. Ça fait combien de temps? 6h55, ça. Oh non. Il est débrouillé avec des... Non, on peut oublier des choses, right? Tu veux pas oublier quelque chose qui peut te servir.
This is not going quite as I hoped it would, Detective.
De quoi vous vous attendiez au juste?
Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance, and not volunteer us to be her henchman.
Vraiment, je pensais que ça se passait bien.
This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser. Either way, we've played straight into her hands.
He doesn't let it show, but there is a limit to how much the consequences of your unprofessional behavior can cost the investigation.
Que proposez-vous? Que nous n'enquêtions pas sur le trafic de drogue?
No. If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we're siding with the Union, or that we are on their take. We'd never hear the end of it. What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done, and demand for her information on the lynching.
Ok. Retournons là-bas, alors. Mon bonhomme veut plus parler. Ouais, on va aller faire autre chose. Si mon bonhomme veut plus parler, on va aller faire autre chose. J'ai déclenché le clic de l'apocalypse, fait qu'il y a plus question que je parle. Ok. On dirait bien que l'endroit était en construction il y a un bail. On va juste aller voir le corps. Il y a toujours des petits bugs de son dans cette section-là, je sais pas pourquoi. C'est bizarre. Comme si le bug of war qui faisait que il y avait des petits bugs de son. L'échelle pour enfants ne supporterait pas le poids d'un homme adulte.
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The body below is entirely dedicated to that corpse smell. Emitting it is all it does now. As you breathe in, the odor comes over you. It's the smell of the mind telling you to run, and your stomach to wring itself empty. With your hands at your sides and your eyes squinting, you stand
À la prochaine. Ça ressemble toujours à ça.
They do after 7 days, yes. We are deep in decomposition here.
Vous approchez.
The man before you is naked, but for a pair of underpants and enameled boots. His skin is greenish, marbled with decaying veins, and blotched by lividity. A fading web of tattoos covers his chest and shoulders. The cargo belt used to fasten him to the branch above appears industrial in strength.
On va examiner l'ensemble.
The hangman's knot is pulled tight by the weight of the corpse below. Yellow, hard-edged polyester cuts into his neck. Above, a sliding buckle ties the belt to the branch. Oh my, there's something on the belt. A familiar word that speaks to the thirst within you.
C'est quoi ça, un mot?
Vermilion, in yellow letters, along the length of the twisting cargo belt. Only a deep longing for vermilion golden spirits lets you decipher the fading logo of the local brewery.
C'est pas le bon moment pour boire, exact.
Extremely.
C'est quel genre de corde?
Industrial strength. The kind used for tying cargo to lorries.
Like in a circus. When the circus leaves town and they tie a black-spotted giraffe to the wall of a carry pen.
Ouais, non, c'est comme dans un port.
Yes, it looks like they use whatever was on hand, paying no attention to not incriminating themselves.
Donc ce serait les dockers du port qui auraient fait ce coup?
The brief suggested as much, politically motivated by the ongoing strike. Did you not get a briefing?
Mon passé était totalement annihilé. Il ne reste rien. Ma mère, l'amour de ma vie, totalement pas un briefing.
Okay, you should ask me for one the first moment we get.
Ok. Il tenait vraiment pas à le voir se carpenter. Carapater. Les polyester paraît costaud.
It's not merely polyester, it's steel reinforced. See these lines? This is where the wires run. I see rabbits for more than 20 strands.
Okay.
This makes getting him down much more problematic than I had assumed.
Comment ont-ils réussi à l'accrocher là-haut?
A noose is one of those things that's easier to use one way around.
Désigne la boucle reliant la sangle à la branche qui la surplombe. Est-ce qu'ils auraient pu grimper là-haut en se servant de l'échelle de gamin?
That ladder can't carry a grown man. I didn't see any splintering either, did you? I think they lassoed the branch, then pulled on the belt to close the buckle.
Ok. Reculer et observer le cadavre.
The cadaver hangs from the cargo belt. Limbs limp, the material appears to be ceramic. Its clean white stands in stark contrast to the decaying flesh above the knee. The man wore thick polymer socks, probably for padding. A fine array of interlocking plates covers them. Delicate and fragile, they feel alien to the world around you, out of place somehow. These are clearly not boots. They're armor, possibly part of a larger set.
Ce ne sont pas des simples blottes. C'est une armure.
Indeed. Technically speaking, these are sabatons, not boots.
Ok. C'est quel genre d'armure exactement?
Ceramic plate. Zirconium dioxide, most likely. This is where the make would be.
Où ça?
Under the heel. Fair weather. Fair weather model T500 VE. I'm guessing that's vitreous enamel. This is advanced stuff.
Où est passé le reste?
The locals probably scavenged it. It would be odd if he had more on after 7 days. We should keep a lookout for these species. The armor could yield information. This is one thing he might actually know.
If you wear those pieces, it will help me protect your mortal coil.
Peut-être qu'il portait juste ses bottes pour que la patte... Non.
The sabatons dangle off the man's decaying form, ageless and synthetic.
T'as fait un peu de tâche à ta botte du pied. Non, retirez la botte.
This feels dangerous. Are you sure?
Donnez la botte sur vos pas.
The stench fills your nostrils. As you push downward, an ominous creaking sound comes from above.
Stop!
Oh, hurle le lieutenant d'une voix aiguë, il vous regarde alors que vous tenez la botte sur votre bras.
Pig's gonna pull his head off.
Brutal!
Oh, c'est pourri comme idée, c'est ça?
You're going to pull his head off.
Do it, homo!
Je vais lui arracher la tête, pas vrai?
Yes, that's what I said. You'll compromise the coroner's case if you do. So please, don't. What are you trying to achieve anyway? Why are you hanging on to that boot?
C'est une technologie avancée, devrait l'utiliser pour connaître leur faiblesse. On est détective, oui ou merde? Il pourrait y avoir des indices dans la botte.
Maybe we should concentrate on what's outside the boot and leave what's inside to the boys at processing? Just this once. Besides,
Il tapote la botte.
there's no way you're getting them off. All the organic matter in his body has been flowing down into the boot. They are fused to his feet now. Why do you think the locals haven't scavenged them yet?
You're sure there's a way to peel them off, but first the body needs to be down. And second, it would probably be better if the lieutenant wasn't around.
C'est bonne idée, acceptée. Bon, les bottes d'un mort, ce serait déshonorant, mais c'est pas honneur.
All right then. You can pay the hostel bill in honor points. How many honor points have you collected?
Et les bottes, elles vont devenir quoi?
Processing will take care of them. With the situation in the morgue, it will yield nothing. But we must pick our fights. Should we continue?
Okay.
The cadaver slowly twists an intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso, from the right shoulder to the solar plexus. Each time they intersect, a small white star is formed in their crossing. Hundreds of fading asterisks riddle his skin. Their concentration is highest around his heart. His corpse is marked by stars. Alcohol and heartbreak. Your fist clenches suddenly.
Il serait constellé de trous de balles. Il sera truffé. Let's go.
Decay is creeping on the tattoo. Already, most of the canvas that's holding it has darkened. Now, it disintegrates slowly, letting out a stink.
Ce serait pas un dispositif microélectronique?
I have only a cursive knowledge of the science of cybernetics. I would not know if it were. But it's not quite complex enough, is it?
Il y a un truc qui nous échappe.
I agree.
Ok, un crissement résonne dans l'air tandis que le lieutenant desserre la fermeture éclair de son blouson orange.
He takes a thin piece of milled aluminium from his coat pocket and pulls it open. Sounds like a sword being unsheathed. A small lens appears. Some sort of camera.
On va le laisser faire.
Shit, Kuno! What the fuck is that?
An instant color camera.
Il sort deux ampoules entourées de métal et les installe sur le côté de l'appareil. Vous discernez une petite fente.
This is the first time he openly acknowledges the kid's existence.
I have only 2 ampoules, so nobody move. I don't want to waste one.
Il braque l'appareil photo sur le corps et regarde dans le viseur. Une mise au point est nécessaire, puis...
A sound, a shrill flash, followed by the breaking of a small ampoule of glass. You see streams of color pour onto the thick, glossy piece of paper, rolling out.
In case we need it.
Dit le lieutenant en secouant le papier pour le faire sécher dans le vent glacé. Dessus, la parfaite reproduction en couleur de la poitrine tatouée du défunt. Super, c'est en
Yes, it is pretty cool, isn't it?
Pourquoi cette photo peut bien nous être utile?
It contains insight to the victim's person. By his build, I'd say this was a man of physical violence. The story he wanted his body to tell was important to him. It is his letter, to us. Someone should decipher it. We'll need to show it around.
Je peux la prendre, j'y jetterai un œil plus tard, sans l'odeur du cadavre.
Sure. Just don't lose it.
Il vous tend le rouleau de papier, photo. Guère plus grand qu'un paquet de cigarettes.
The glossy-eyed corpse looks by, his mouth mute and his skin as colorful as the chemical rainbow on the photo paper. His eyes are milky white and blind to the world, protruding comically from their sockets. There is no one home, just subaquatic terrors. Dark brown hair grows on his head. His face is ready to explode from the organic processes inside. The death's head grin has passed. What remains is an unrecognizable mess. Underneath the curdled meat there is an expression, not carried on his features, but below, inside, an expression of pleasure. This man was experiencing joy at the moment of his death.
Quoi? Il est en extase au moment de sa mort. Dis-moi, le macabre qui es-tu?
I'm gone.
I'm gone. Où es-tu allé?
Into the wild pale yonder.
C'est où?
In the past. Way out in the west.
Je vois bien que tu es parti, mais qui es-tu?
I'm a joke. Look at me.
Maintenant oui, mais qui étais-tu de ton vivant?
A killer. A motherfucker. And a killer.
Takes one to know one.
J'ai une autre question pour toi.
Go ahead, Copper.
Pourquoi as-tu ressenti du plaisir au moment de ta mort?
Maybe I was getting my rocks off.
Tout d'abord, faut vraiment que tu t'exprimes de cette façon? C'est quoi ce jargon?
It's a mishmash, Copperbolo. You think I'm Messinian, don't you? For you, this is how people from Messina speak like.
Je suis même pas sûr de savoir ce que c'est Messina. Es-tu une Messina?
No. My hair is too light a shade of brown. My eyebrows, too. Trust your inner racist.
Quoi? Quoi? Toi aussi t'es raciste?
You think I am. You think I was a racist because this lump looks military and has tattoos. That's called profiling.
Donc, tu ressentais de l'excitation sexuelle quand ils t'ont pendu.
Do I look like an erotic auto-asphyxiation type to you?
Oui.
Captain Coppadromo. I fear we are drifting away, fixating on sexuality again. Let's go with a simpler question.
J'arrive pas à ouvrir ce foutu compartiment de mon registre.
The blue heart. Oh, that's good shit. You'll love it. Just press down and fuck it open like you always do. Fuck it hard. Copopo the clown.
He means force. It'll work.
Que se passe-t-il?
What do you mean?
C'est à toi que je parle.
It's the power of your
Une sorte de mousse noire bouillante au point de ses lèvres.
imagination.
Yeah, man! Don't be crazy! Inanimate objects and dead people can't really talk to you. Your wild imagination is doing this. Ask some more of those questions you love so much.
Wow, ça va gossante et grave en maudit, hein?
He loves those.
Pourquoi j'aime autant les questions?
Because you're a copperoonie. Look at all of them go. Do you want more questions?
Ouais, fais péter les questions.
Here you go, you loony.
Raoul, c'est mon nom?
Fuck no. You're no Rooney.
Raoul, je trouve ça bien.
No, you don't. Between you and me, your name is probably Harry.
Notre prénom? Pourquoi j'ai l'impression de... Est-ce que j'ai l'impression d'avoir oublié un truc horrible?
Because you have.
Je déteste Tuchelin, t'es chiant.
Do I remind you of someone?
Tu me rappelles personne. Tu me rappelles une créature des abyssales océaniques. Tu me rappelles un bébé atteint d'un... Oh mon Dieu.
No, not quite. Be fair now. You sure got out of that one. Coppolini.
Ça suffit.
Come back later, Coppo. Amuse yourself with my frank manners and my memento mori features. If possible, also, see me in your dreams.
Plisser les yeux et les reculer d'un pas.
As you narrow your eyes, the monster before you blurs into a violent mess of green and pink. Only the lower extremities are pink with a dash of blue. His fatted hands, thighs, and his neck, just above the noose. The rest of the corpse appears dark green in the cold spring air.
J'ai plissé les yeux, Kim. Pourquoi je fais ça?
How should I know why you are squinting, officer?
Plissez les yeux un peu plus. Son visage et sa main sont roses, les cuisses aussi. Le reste est verdâtre.
Oh. You are trying to assess lividity.
The monster comes back into focus, an explosion of color, coursing with dark marbled veins. His stomach appears pregnant with something. Black liquid streams down his thigh and onto his boot.
So, what do you think?
Je sais pas encore. Vous pouvez aller commencer à refouler. Il s'est fait tabasser, vous voyez les bleus. Il s'est fait tabasser, vous voyez les bleus.
I do. Most of them are post-mortem. Maybe even all of them. The delinquents have made our jobs harder with their little sport.
Stop talking in riddles, coin slot.
It means you fucked him up good, Kuno. Fucked him up brutal like.
Je pense qu'il est mort. Il commence à refouler.
A pool of blood and feces has eaten into the frozen mud below the man's feet. Purge liquid is dripping into it, drop by drop.
The victim appears to have contained no more than half a kilogram of digestion at the time of death.
The fuck he's saying?
Talking about shit.
Malicious laughter erupts in the yard. Sounds like seagulls.
Big said steadies him.
The lieutenant's face is made of stone.
Je sais pas quoi en penser, vous.
I think he was upright immediately after death. Blood has gathered in his hands and feet, and his neck.
Et des élémentaux, vous soufflez.
The noose acted like a tourniquet, keeping the blood in his head. The hypostasis here is in tune with the hanging. That's what I think.
Ouais, ça m'a tout l'air d'un recherche.
Everything here seems to corroborate that assumption, but we should still get him down before assigning a probable cause of death.
Je pense qu'il est mort.
I agree.
There are crow's feet in his eyes. He's laughing silently.
Totally dead.
Absolument.
Absolutely.
But there is no breath to catch.
Bon alors,
Only the
comment
cadaver filling the air and your nostrils.
Are you sure we finished the preliminary examination of the cadaver? We might miss some of these things once he's done.
The cadaver slowly twists on the cargo belt.
Of course. You have quit come back.
The steel-reinforced belt presents a unique challenge. I brought chain cutters, but I don't see a good angle of approach to the belt. The cadaver is a good 1.2 meters up. Neither one of us can reach the belt without assistance. And even if we do, there's the question of cutting it.
Personne d'autre pourrait s'en charger.
Someone else? You mean like the police?
Nous marquons un point là.
Sadly, yes. The whole RCM is out there right now, doing the exact same thing we are. Are we in a rush to help them? Not with this on our hands.
Il se couvre le nez.
I know it's hard, but I assure you, the others won't come to help us. And we have a growing sanitary concern here. We need to get him down, fast.
On pourrait aller demander. On pourrait scier la branche.
Climb up there and saw the branch?
Ouais, ça m'aurait dangereux.
There has to be a less risky way, with less falling down of trees.
Ça m'a l'air d'être bien galère, disons cela.
We are not getting him down already. Not getting him down is a task that's already accomplished. Sadly, it's not our job to keep him up there, but to get him down.
J'ai pas envie de lui arracher la tête.
How do you plan to get him down then? With social sensibility? Are you going to educate him down?
On pourrait aller demander de l'aide au port.
I was really hoping we wouldn't. The Union appeared to be suspect in this case. It seems like a dangerous route to go.
Confirmed. It's unsafe. But what other options? The corpse twists on the belt, like chicken on a skewer.
On pourrait peut-être utiliser notre arme pour le faire tomber.
Yeah! Bang bang time, pig! Shoot his head off!
How?
Oh. Vise la sangle, la balle devrait la sectionner.
It absolutely will not, officer. That's not how physics work. It will maybe cut one thread loose.
Yeah, now we're talking. Entertain a Kuno with some
They'll miss! The pigs will miss Kuno!
The lieutenant is undecided. On one hand, he wants to shoot some gun. On the other, it's an awfully stupid idea.
Je sais pas comment.
The lieutenant's brow is furrowed. He appears too deep in concentration to even notice what you said.
Tirez, lieutenant, qu'est-ce qu'on risque?
I'll blow his head off.
Take it! Take the shot!
Yeah, take the shot!
Silence. With his elbow sharp, the lieutenant unzips his jacket and produces a lightweight firearm. He drops a paper cartridge in the barrel, separates the scouring stick, and gives the cartridge 5 tucks. He then steps back and assumes the fellow's desk position, taking aim. The corner of his eye twitches. His finger is on the trigger.
En douceur, collègue.
He's gonna fucking miss!
The kid's voice is drowned in a shrill blast that echoes off the walls of the surrounding tenements. A cloud of smoke slowly parts in the air as the lieutenant steps back and says to himself,
God damn it.
He feels bad about it. About his eyes mostly. Just having bad eyesight. Probably from a young age. Whatever you do, do not
Fucking idiot!
Kuno could have hit it easy, but then Kuno's not fucking handicapped, is he?
Bordel, reprenez-vous.
Remain collegial, officer. It was an honest mistake, and I will not repeat it.
Maintenant.
I have to say, it's beginning to look unlikely we can get him down without assistance.
Je peux avoir votre arme, j'aimerais essayer.
It's bad as it is. Us shooting firearms like punks.
Du coup, là, ouais. Il s'est trompé, puis il hausse les épaules et commence à recharger la pistolet.
Go ahead. I'm not stopping you. Just don't lose it.
Même ça tire dans la main de Tandy.
They only have one gun.
This is the sorriest pair of pigs Kuno's ever seen.
Yeah, take it, you fucking banani poika. Take it and shoot yourself in the mouth.
Évaluer d'abord le poids de l'arme.
The cold piece of bakelite and gunmetal is surprisingly light. Your fingers fit right through the guard, instinctively resting on the trigger.
The fuck are you waiting for, Kuno? Tell him to shoot himself in the mouth.
Kuno is silent. Aggression gathers in the air. The trigger feels delicate and ready to break under your finger.
Pointez l'arme vers son...
The buckle comes into focus in your sights. You stand with your feet planted firmly in the ground and your left hand supporting your gun arm.
Why don't you just shoot yourself in your mouth? At least you won't miss.
Your field of view narrows. The branch slowly moves, becoming entirely two-dimensional. The metal buckle glimmers, catching the evening light. As the corpse slowly rotates, as you wait, your breathing slows down. Some mosquito-like organism buzzes in your peripheral.
Look, he's crying. You gonna cry now, fucking faggoty?
Ah, c'est juste 28%, guys. Oh my god! Ben non! C'est quoi la probabilité? 28%, je sais.
The buckle explodes into tiny pieces.
On a eu un critical! Wow! On a eu 6 plus 6! On a eu un critical!
With your hand numb from the recoil, you look at the body slump down. For a moment, the man appears to kneel in front of you, looking straight at you, helpless, trapped within itself.
Qui t'a tué?
Communism.
It takes a millisecond for the association to flash within your cortex. You have no idea where it's coming from, only that it's right. Then the rigor in his muscles gives up, and he smashes sideways into the spring mud, letting out a horrid stench.
Tu as été pacifié.
Ace is high.
J'ai tenu la main droite dans l'espoir que vous la frappez, vous frappez dans les mains. Yes, sir.
The lieutenant takes a little hop to perform the customary salutation. Your palm hurts from the slap. It's precise and down to the point.
I knew these guys were
Son ton est intensément probateur. Non, on mange pas de ce pain-là. Ouais, on a des...
Officer, let's keep our attention on the victim.
Et maintenant?
We will perform a field autopsy and determine the cause of death. But before... Excuse me. It looks like I feel like taking a break from the stench. I'm sorry to interrupt the jubilations here. Just a little breather before we do the autopsy.
Une seconde. Une autopsie sur ça?
Yes. The 4 phases of a murder scene. 1. Investigation of the scene. I can't say I'm fully satisfied with that part. We should search for prints, maybe.
Des éclabouts autour de nous.
2. Initial examination of the victim. We were pretty good in our efforts, and the autopsy will provide another chance. 3. Field autopsy. This will not be pleasant or easy, and it will have to be performed on the scene.
The fuck are they on about?
Cops are gonna cut his shit up.
4 and final, transport of the coroner's case to the district morgue. I'll do that. God, it stinks.
On n'est pas un spécialiste pour les autopsies, genre un médecin.
No, you and I are detectives. The honorary rank of detective signifies our ability to handle the entire incident chain. From crime scene to autopsy to cleanup, we do it all.
Ok, ouais, je crois bien de détective.
Your station would not have assigned you the case otherwise. This case is important.
Ok, d'accord.
In the meantime, we should try to interview Evrard Clare, the leader of the union. Harbor property was clearly used in the hanging. The harbor just east of here. Getting in might prove a challenge, though. I would also suggest we interview Joyce, the Wild Pines representative, but we've already done that, so good for us. 1 down, 1 to go.
Allons-y, let's go.
lonesome, long way home.
On sait tout ce qu'on habite, là?
Here we go. Home awaits. Walk past Station 41 and through the market, past the Boogie Street spearhead to the other side of the lake, the frozen eye at the center of the district. Then past the video rental store on the corner. There, at the end of a street lined with pine trees, a small house no larger than a matchbox, 11 Voyager Road. You no longer live there. Those times are gone. And so are those people. Why did you come here? Why are you still here? And where's the dealer? You have to get back to work. That's all you have now.
La vitesse octroi 1 psy. Ah, essai d'apprentissage, je passe à 5. La perception. Vous pourrez déverrouiller d'autres choses. Ok. Wow. Il s'est passé énormément de choses encore cet épisode-là. Ce jeu est juste rempli de choses. C'est juste hallucinant pour vrai. Du dialogue, l'histoire. En voulez-vous, en voilà. C'est le personnage est complètement disjoncté, déconnecté de la réalité. C'est hallucinant. En tout cas, j'espère que vous avez apprécié. Si jamais vous voulez joindre la communauté Twitch, le lien va être juste ici. Sinon, vous pouvez le retrouver dans la description de cette vidéo. Je vous souhaite une excellente fin de journée ou une excellente fin de soirée, tout dépendant de ce qui s'applique à vous. Et je vous dis, prenez soin de vous. Et à la prochaine. Bye bye.